Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you. Hey everyone, Joshua Hanlon here, joined by Caden Burton, and we are going to be taking you on a full tour of BrickFair Virginia 2023. We're going to be doing our very best to show you every single build and build area on display here at the convention this year. So you might remember Caden from his many appearances on Beyond the Brick over the years. He's come back to join me as co-host for the tour. Thank you so much. What can you tell us about this first layout?
Sure. So this one is David Hall's newest project, and they worked really hard, him and about 5 other people, to get this done in the last couple days just to get it to this show. Looks absolutely amazing. He's been building it over on his YouTube channel, Solid Brick Studios, and there'll be a longer video to come.
Exactly. Always great to see David's work. Fantastic stuff. Moving across here, we have lots more Star Wars. Star Wars is always a really big deal at really any LEGO convention, no matter the size, but especially BrickFair every year. So this is the attack on Clone Base here. Lots of action. I love to see when there's things on fire, like you can see on the corner here, and then some great landscaping built as well. Then we've got a variety of other Star Wars stuff. It looks like Coruscant right here. Maybe some nice kind of lettering in the blue area there.
Yeah, and with the commonality of like clone battle packs nowadays too, it's become super popular for huge battles with big armies and stuff. It's really awesome to see, especially with the variety that's out now.
And then you, of course, have the iconic scenes like Hoth, again with more explosions and all of the snow. This one is very action-packed with a ton of minifigures as well, which kind of makes it very exciting. Next to that is something very, very different color scheme. Do you know what this is based on?
I have no idea. The Battle of Anaxis, it looks like. So based off of Season 7 or the beginning of the Bad Batch, I believe.
It says from Season 7 of Clone Wars. You were right. Look at that. There you go.
50-50.
Very good work there. So then we've got an Imperial base here. Lots more minifigures. Some smaller Star Wars builds. You can see there's a ton of builds packed into BrickFair this year. I think this is kind of the most square footage of just builds ever, right?
Yeah, so we hit almost 3,000 mocks this year with almost 1,300 registered exhibitors spread across all different themes, all different lugs. There's so many cool things to look at. It's going to be a great time.
I did want to give a shout out to this Empire Game Show Network real quick. I think this is hilarious here. So it's taking famous shows like Family Feud over here and Star Wars theming them. I think that's just a super fun idea.
That is really cool. I haven't even gotten to do a full walk around myself yet, so I'm seeing some of this stuff for the first time.
Then we've got another Geonosis build here, the Battle of Scarif, something that you've seen many people tackle. My favorite detail in this one is the volleyball there in the middle. You even got the ball flying over the net. Great action shot there. Scarif build here, great work on the landscaping on this build. I think that looks very nice. And then the Duplo class Star Destroyer. I think we've seen this in the past, but always a funny build.
Always funny. Watching people build stuff that's not system, it's great to see.
Jabba's Palace, which I think we'll see more of later on as well here. You've got the TIE Fighter. You've got a big UCS scale Starforge in the back. And then here we have, I think this is a Star Wars build.
Yeah, so this is Aldani from the Andor series. Super clean. It's like a very mountainous, hilly kind of terrain in the show. So you've got the camp of all the villagers with the main characters down there, kind of planning their assault on the new base.
Okay, look at you sharing your expertise. Great work. Good job. We'll move across now to, this is Rebel Lug / I think the Salty Bros.
Yep, Salty Bros Lug.
So is that what your hat is as well?
Yeah, I'm repping the merch.
A hat wearing member.
Yes, of course. So we had Rebel Lug, members of Rebel Lug, and members of the Salty Bros Lug contribute on a bunch of different stuff this year.
Shout out to Noah Hennings here with this fantastic Clone Wars build. I really like the background as well. It kind of creates the whole scene. And then up top is a fantastic collab. I think you were a part of this, so what can you tell us about this?
I am a part of this. So there are 7 of us, I believe, that worked on this. Each of us has a scene from different movies throughout the timeline of Mission Impossible, including the newest one. And it was a really cool build, really cool collaboration to work with everybody on. And we've got a couple of different iconic scenes. So the 4th movie was the one that I did, the deep fake hallway in the Kremlin. It was like, I started watching the movie, I was like, that's what I'm doing. So
great work, but I do have to give a special shout out to this build here from the famous bathroom fight scene. If you look in the background there, you've got a couple extras, hard at work as well, maybe getting some extra shots in there.
Some of the work in progress pictures of that one were interesting.
There are some more fantastic Star Wars builds down here as well. I didn't want to ignore those so we can show those where you got this nice trench scene, some of the helmets in the back there, and then kind of a bridge scene here as well. Then this is Sol Verde. It looks like kind of a floating rock type scene. And Minas Tirith, Lord of the Rings. Oh, and then the classic, some rare Lego early wooden, I think, products it looks like.
Looks like, and then some renditions of the old ones in actual system brick themselves.
This Kingsman briefcase we saw last year. This is part of a collab that was here. I think it was last year. We have a video on that. It was a really impressive collab. It's really nice. Little train and kind of a cuckoo clock kind of looking house there. And then some Star Wars. Let's see, brick heads back there. Little habitats. This is from the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Looks like it, yeah.
Taylor Swift, all the rage these days. You've got this this house that I recently heard. I think there's like 9 different ones of these on Lego Ideas or something. It's just something people are. It's such a popular build. People are just constantly putting it up there.
Yeah, now the BrickFair does the tile trading with the album covers. That's all I've heard all weekend.
These Transformers are spectacular. I actually, in a very unusual feat for me, saw the most recent Transformers movie, which is not something that I do very often. But it was an enjoyable time, you know. And these look fantastic.
I don't think I've seen any of the other ones since the first one, but you know, and they can hate me in the comments. But you know, it's the Transformers in Lego are cool because there's some of them that do actually transform, and getting like the ball joints and the little mixel pieces to make that happen is really cool technique.
Next, we have Ethan the Artisan, TikTok legend and hamburger connoisseur, as well as the emoji builds here look fantastic, and then Carter's Disney monorail in the back there as well. You've got Wednesday, which I think is from the TV show there. Then we've got a little Paddington build looking fantastic, and some Harry Potter, and then I think some more Lord of the Rings. As we round the corner, it takes us to the first of several kind of underwater coral builds that we'll see here. This is a fantastic build from Aubrey, looking really good. And then I like this one with the pillars underneath here as well.
Yeah, this year there's a lot of random underwater things scattered around. And one of the cool things with Rebel Lug and Salty Lug is that it's a lot of people who build different stuff. So there's a wide range of builds in just this island alone.
This build here is from Genghis Khan, so a little historical build here. We'll see a lot of historical builds, something that BrickFair is iconic for anyone who has seen our past coverage. Then you've got a ancient Roman build here, some fantastic Vikings up top. Looks like maybe some Alaskan type, igloo builds going on there. And a couple medieval builds on the left on the top level there. So making use of space as much as possible. We round the corner and we come to, I think is this our first World War II build?
Yeah, and definitely not the last. It's probably the only one we'll see for a little while, but this is the Battle of El Alamein, and it's really nicely done. I love how sleek the buildings and all look. Emil always does a great job at really smoothing everything out, and it's really clean.
Creating that raised black base plate works really well there. And you've got a little Operation Overlord here. And then it looks like we've got a battle from 1814. This is Swedish forces. Let's see. Looks like there's only one figure there at the moment, so see what else happens with that build later on. You've got a variety of here's some Halo. Is this all Halo here, or a lot of it at least? And then some Star Wars?
Yeah, I think all the stuff on this side, or this stuff in the middle, is all Halo vehicles, and then some Star Wars stuff looks like some stuff from the Mimban in Solo vehicles and figures there. And then a cool TIE fighter in the back. I like the way the wings curve on that. That's
not an easy thing to do.
Definitely unnatural in Lego, yeah.
Now we move into some character builds here, and these are really fantastic. You've got Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon, all sorts of really cool characters here that from a variety of video games, shows, a lot of which I have not seen.
I haven't either, but Ian brought a lot of really cool stuff this year, and I like all the detailed cards that kind of show off which one is which. The Star-Lord is probably my favorite one.
It's interesting seeing some of the kind of custom mock cards that people have made as well. So there's the kind of basic classic BrickFair white cards, but then some people really kind of take it to the next level with their presentation.
Yeah, that was something that was new to me this year, being a part of the Salty Lug stuff, that we had custom cards made for each builder, kind of all their tags, where they're from, what they do outside of Lego, and even like some of their favorite things to do with Lego.
Looking at some lighthouses, here's this really great bridge, kind of reminiscent of the recent official Lego Japanese garden set. Then this castle on the shore is great. Definitely kind of a Mont Saint Michel kind of island vibe there. This is, let's see, the Troubled Michael's Abode. Looks like kind of a house build there. And then we got Captain America, Deadpool. This is Poppy's Diner again from that collab that we mentioned earlier. I think this is taking us back to the end here. What do we finish with?
We finished with a couple Star Wars kind of big caricatures and some really cool, clean ships, as well as a Republic Commando blaster back there.
Fantastic work here to everyone in the Rebel Lug Salty Bros section. We'll move across the aisle now and take you to the Mosaics. And you can see definitely an idea of kind of how packed in the builds are here because of look at how many layers of Mosaics there are in here.
Yeah, and BrickFair does not have risers. We kind of made some risers, and people brought a lot of risers. And there's Mosaics in about, I think, 3 different places in the convention center. So there's a lot of really cool ones. A lot of very artsy and kind of methodical ones as well.
Yeah, the shapes are really unique here, as well as kind of the 3D effects that are done. So a lot of these just kind of really mess with your perception a little bit when you first look at it. Some of them will have black light and things on as well. So anything you can imagine can be done with Lego, especially with the Mosaics here. It's always super fun to see how creative and colorful they are. And then we've got some from Kate Hunter, who's a builder that we've seen at a lot of shows, does a lot of incredible kind of mosaic type work. That, I think, is a Mario build.
It looks like it, yeah. Good, like 2D, almost popping off the screen, 3D Mario build. And can't discount, too, the ones that a lot of people retake the Star Wars art sets and make their own mosaic versions of the same kind of scale, which is really cool.
And some more Taylor Swift and Deadpool. Then we've got Boston in a box there. And this is a carrot. This is called Carrot in Perspective. So it's kind of like a bunch of different builds that make up one large carrot build. Lots more mosaics here. Starting to see some like trans-clear pieces, some lenticular. Oh, this Batman one back here is fantastic.
That is really cool. It uses the textured 1x2 bricks with vertical and horizontal on opposite sides. And the variation, like how he has them all turned around, gives you that darker outline. That's really cool.
And then the Spider-Man logo made with the black Lego spiders. I love that. Brittany Harris there. That's a super fun idea. You've got the big Rex and Lotto, I think it is back there, some Toy Story. You've got the Great Flag here and Marine Corps figure and very large logo there.
That's beautiful. Very like the gold, silver, black, red, super sleek colors and all, and the 1x1 tiles. I don't want to know how much that costs.
We'll come across to this section now. So this is kind of a smaller square with a variety of builds on it. Starting right here with The Last Stand. These pirates kind of abandoned on this island, and it looks like the Imperial troops are coming for them.
Yeah, some really cool rock work and some overflow on the water work too. Works really nice. Kind of gives that free-form take on the edging around it.
Next to that is variation on the world map sets, and it looks like they maybe combined several of them to make sort of North America, Europe, some of like North Africa, and Asia there as well.
It says the mock card says Art of War, but I don't know if that's what we're looking at. But it definitely looks like something.
There's a QR code there, so that might play into it somehow.
Maybe.
Then we've got a Mandalorian mosaic and some little character vignettes as we round the corner. This build here is a concert of some kind. I think it's like, it says it's a South Korean girl group, so a K-pop group here. Can't say I'm familiar with them, but I like the lighting and kind of the setup of this whole display.
I'm definitely not familiar with them either, but apparently Clone Troopers love this group. There's so many Clone Troopers in attendance.
This is what happens when you're collecting your clones on a base plane, then really start to get into K-pop, and you've got to combine the two.
Way too many battle packs.
Then we've got a nice micro Rebel base here. So this is a scale you don't see super often with Star Wars, and it's interesting. They've even added lights to it.
Yeah, which is cool. I like the micro scale. Like, I feel like micro scale ships are harder to pull off with especially certain angles and certain variants of ships because some of the curvature and shaping is super difficult to pull off.
You see some more Star Wars figures and ships here, and then smaller kind of vignette battles. Seen some more TIE Fighter examples and things here. These have, this is Brick Bros signs all around, so that I think might be the builders of a lot of this stuff. And then here you see more kind of medieval Viking stuff, the great use of the old kind of raised base plate there.
Yeah, the old base plate got the water, it's got the foliage kind of built into it, and then really took the time, built up around it, cleaned up all the edges, and built a castle on top of it.
A blacksmith and a guardhouse. And then Attack of the Skeletons. It looks like the skeletons have come out and reanimated a little bit, so that's not ending so well for those guys.
Definitely not, but it looks like the soldiers are winning, at least as of right now.
And then a nice Iron Man build there to finish out that section. We'll move back across to the edge of the wall here, and you can see builders. We are Friday evening of the show at this point. You can see builders still hard at work getting ready for the public time tomorrow. Here you've got this Monaco Grand Prix build on the left. I love this because it includes like the yacht and kind of the water portion as well as the racetrack itself there, and a lot of the kind of iconic Monaco views that you see with the photos that they have out here. So I think that's a really nice build.
Yeah, I like the greebled kind of built up plated landscape in the back and the use of the trans light blue snowflake pieces as kind of their water substitute.
This next build here is one of the fantastic military layouts that we will see on display at the show. I believe this is based on a battle between the Danes and the Prussians, is what I was told earlier. And they're still working here, but you can see already what they have set up looks amazing.
Yeah, it really does. And I mean, these guys come out every year. They bring their A game. They show off big, amazing stuff, and it's awesome to see. We
will definitely be circling back around with them for a full video, so fantastic. Then we've got another battle here from 1241. And nice bridge battle. And then this is, I think, Aztec inspired, yes, kind of temple scene here. I love that Aztec warrior, one of my favorite minifigures of all time when that came out.
I can't say I own any of those, but the use of the pearl gold tiles to really clean up the edges around the base of that, and especially the staircase, is with like the blood from the sacrifice at the top coming down. It's really nice.
And then, of course, we are at BrickFair, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C., so you're always going to have some of the local architecture represented here, and you see that with a kind of miniature version of the National Mall and a lot of the iconic buildings around that area. And then we move into some more military builds. This is from the Civil War, I believe.
Yeah, so this is Civil War, Battle of Spotsylvania, so this is a lot of more of the historical stuff as we're going to find over here. I think there's a couple more figs to get set up, but a really cool battle scene.
This next battle scene is by the legendary Gary Brooks, who has been featured many times on Beyond the Brick and in many tour videos with his displays over the years. This is the Battle of Leipzig, one of the iconic, very famous Napoleonic battles that many people might be familiar with. We're getting a big Napoleon blockbuster movie coming out later this year, so this type of thing I'm sure will be kind of much more in the popular culture coming up soon.
Yeah, I know for me personally, I'm definitely diving into the Napoleon area a little bit more, which is dangerous, but and with that build, fun fact, Gary, we were talking about it yesterday, that's the biggest build he's brought since he did Waterloo in 2015, so.
Yes, incredible builder. You can see some builders still hard at work there. We'll move over to this section now. So this, I think, is kind of moon-based space modules, and it's kind of where you build to a certain kind of height there, and then you can connect them all up when you get to the show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is like a big collaborative effort. Everyone has a standard that they build to, like you said, and they bring the big base. Everything gets set up. It's super colorful. Everybody's different building technique and style comes out in it, and it's a great thing to see all set up.
And I do love the variety of colors there, so it's not just your classic blues and grays like you see here with this really nice Galaxy Explorer, but there's more, there's pinks, there's all sorts of colors, kind of whatever direction people want to go in. And over here, we move to kind of more of an underwater theme here, and so it's like, kind of looks like a moon base, but on the ocean.
Yeah, I believe it's the Aqua Zone or something like that.
Aqua something, there's been a lot of them.
There's a lot of Aqua stuff, yeah. We haven't even seen half of it yet, so.
So that looks great. We can keep moving further into the convention hall then, and we've got more space. This is the iconic Blacktron. Looks like there's a monorail that's not running right now, but that's really cool. And this is another one of those kind of action-packed displays where you've got all the classic space factions starting to battle it out.
And the cool thing I like about Blacktron is how widely used the color black is, and especially like when it's clean, it's super sleek, and it really breaks away from the tradition of how they have all the rockwork and stuff greebled out.
The colors contrast so nicely. That's a really good point. Here's just the most classic space you can possibly pack into one area. It's like what BrickFair is trying to do with the builds.
Literally, and I'm pretty sure like everything on this table came out well before I was born, but it looks, the old moon base plates with the moon, like the craters and stuff in them, all the classic ships, all the classic figures. It's awesome.
Caden is only just now old enough to be allowed into BrickFair.
Yeah, I won't get kicked out anymore, I promise.
Here we have another sort of concert with a bunch of minifigures enjoying themselves, and then just an old Star Wars box as well.
Super nostalgic.
This is Jabba's Palace here, one of the cleanest, most detailed Star Wars builds at the show here, and just looks incredible. Even the view from the back is amazing too, but the amount of detail in the front is amazing.
Yeah, this is like absolutely beautiful, and I like the scene in the top is kind of reminiscent of the Book of Boba Fett series. But the way that he's got the wall, the dark tan and tan wall built up in his sand room with all of the one-bys and the masonry elements is absolutely beautiful.
Some Star Wars ships next to that, and then we see some big lightsabers, totally brick built. Oh, and then this is very different. This is called Coffee Break, and we see a very nice pink mech with some Friends figures on a break.
With a very dangerous-looking mace made out of lipstick.
Down here we get into some more mechs with lights. That's fantastic. You don't normally see lights on something like a mech like this.
You don't. I feel like they're a little harder to wire because there's less space to hide them, but the way that the eyes glow is really cool.
Here's one kind of in the docking bay there as well. Again with great lights. You see underwater scenes. And then over here we've got one, I think that's like an organ on top of a mech maybe.
Yeah, so this is by Joseph Zawada, part of Charm City Lug, and he built some really cool mechs that are all based off of different, he's got the one that's the piano, the organ, some other ones representing a bunch of different weird like pop culture stuff.
Joseph Zawada always brings something, always a nice surprise from him. Then we'll come around to, this is Nick's Bricks, it says there on the sign, and these are just like tons of mechs from pop culture, it looks like.
It looks like it. It looks like each one is kind of built reminiscent of a different character that LEGO has made over the years. All the Mutant Ninja Turtles, some of the CMF figures, some of the Chima figures, a very broad spectrum.
Star Wars down here at the end maybe. Looks like DC and Marvel kind of in the middle. So it's a fun idea, kind of a twist on the typical kind of pop culture themes that LEGO does.
Right, I like this, the flat silver with the chrome Stormtrooper one up top. That's really cool.
And that takes us back to the beginning of that, so we can just keep making our way around. We'll go ahead and show this section right here. So I really love this build here. This is by Dan Rubin, another build that we've featured several times on the channel. We've got ourselves a big kind of Blacktron tower, once again representing Blacktron, and then there's this rather large creature. It doesn't look like it's going to end so well for these people.
I guess not. As clean as this tower looks, it's not going to last long, but the lighting inside his mouth to the way it rotates is really, really cool to look at.
Really nice looking display there. We'll move around the corner this direction now, and you can see some more kind of starfighters and spaceships in here looking really good. In a variety of colors, once again kind of representing the different classic space factions, which always look fantastic. And then here's one. This one is like magenta, dark azure, so some unique colors as well.
I love the space builds here because everyone always branches super far out of like the normal color schemes, finds two super random colors and builds something really cool out of it, and then duplicates it in other weird combinations of colors, but they all look amazing. So
more classic space around the corner, and then some fantastic looking spaceships here. I especially love this one in the back by Jeff. It's called the Witch of November with some green and gold accents. Those colors combined just look fantastic.
They really do, and I like all the green, dark green windows on the bottom of it that kind of make up all the different like subjective holes of where the color changes.
across the gap there, oh, this is cool. So this is the classic computer brick kind of blown up, built with bricks into a larger version. That's always super fun when builders do that. And then we start to see more spaceships, and lighting in there is fantastic. I'm seeing a lot of really good lighting already this year.
Yeah, there's lots of lights this year. Everybody's got something that's lit up, and the space battle going on, the way this starfighter over here has kind of been blown up is also really nice. The way all the debris is attached.
And we see some of a underwater setup being done here as well, and you start to see kind of the different pods and sections there. I really love this one. We were talking about lighting. That one looks fantastic there as well. That's the Manta sub. And we'll keep moving around the corner. This is the Endurance from Interstellar right there. Some really sleek looking ships here by Blake Foster, another kind of legendary space builder here, looking fantastic. And then this build, absolute behemoth by the one and only Simon Liu.
Of course it's Simon. All the greebling and the dark gray is amazing. It really accents the variation and the depth between the turquoise or teal, whatever the official LEGO color is, and the yellow is really nice.
Speaking of Simon, you scared me.
Sorry I scared you. Snuck up.
What do you have happening back here?
This is new Hashima. This is the third iteration. Sorry. This is I've lost count. This is the third iteration this year of New Hashima. We did Chicago, which was a really large one. We did a small docks in Toronto, and Mike over here, he helped this version. Tell us about this version.
Yeah, so a little sneak preview of New Hashima Sector 10, the Arcology. Since Brickworld was the giganticest one that we did footprint-wise, we decided to make it go even taller. So we wanted to be the height record of Brickworld Chicago's New Hashima, and we did. It is 14 feet 10 inches tall this time around, just shy of 15 feet. It's a remix of like a bunch of different cubes that people have brought before. I'd say honestly the mix is pretty 50-50 as far as like new versus existing cubes goes.
So there is a lot of new stuff as well. It's not just remixing the stuff from previous shows.
Like I said, it was crazy because like when we were kind of planning out who would be contributing to it, we had like the Google Doc spreadsheet of like all the different stuff that we had, and I think 2 weeks ago I counted like 33 cubes were going to be involved. And then, like, in the last week, 11 more got added. So, and of those 11, all of them were new. And of the 34 original ones that we had planned to include, half of those were, like, new as well. So, you know, it's a little bit of a remix of old stuff, but, you know, it stands on its own, I think, as, like, its own new thing. And you can literally see it from any side of the Expo Center, so we're pretty proud of that too. Yeah.
I mean, it looks incredible, and I love that it wasn't just a one and done at Brickworld Chicago, and you've continued to add new stuff and use the old ones as well. And you beat the height record. That's crazy. So I mean, you're just continuing to do crazy stuff here.
On a technicality, I think. Yeah, on a technicality. Whatever. You know.
Questions and debate on the height.
I'll let you guys work that out.
We'll call it a tie. We'll call it a tie.
All right. We're gonna keep doing the tour, but thank you guys. Appreciate it. We'll keep moving over here now as we let cameraman John pick back up. But yeah, for people who have not seen, we have a 2.5 hour long new Hashima video on the channel from Brickworld Chicago. You should definitely check that out to see that whole collab. But now we're back to Star Wars. So do you know what's happening here?
I don't know the name of the battle, and I don't want to be wrong if I guess, but I know this one is from Season 7 of the Clone Wars.
Someone in the comments will point it out. The people in the comments are really smart.
It may also be Bad Batch. I don't really know. It's one of the two.
I like the flying jetpack guys there. I think that's a great technique.
Yeah, I love the new like angled bar to stud piece that LEGO started doing, especially because they introduced it in trans clear. It gives you so much more versatility with angles, especially when trying to like elevate things to make it seem like there's nothing underneath of it.
We'll move around to the right now, and you can see some builders still hard at work on this. You see some more builds kind of reminiscent of that moon-based module we were talking about. This is a combination of kind of tons of different space stuff in here, and even I think the Overwatch sets.
Yeah, this year there's like a lot of space, a lot of big space like group builds, as well as a lot of underwater stuff. It seems like they've kind of got some underwater-ish, at least foliage and color stuff going on over on the left side.
And the Ice Planet monorail. Here's another Star Wars build in progress. This one caught my eye earlier because they use these clear panels. It looks like there might be some stuff happening underneath there. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what this one's going to do underneath, especially to cover up all the the filler brick and stuff underneath too.
Then we've got another Aquanauts build here. Some smaller vignettes with some mechs and Star Wars battles. This is a Mosaic spaceship. So Mosaics you don't see super often. That's the old from like the 1960s, 70s. Much smaller bricks used by architects typically. You see Starfighter and a lunar outpost. And then a whole ton of microships here.
Yeah, lots of microships, lots of cool angles, lots of cool looking designs. And again, with the spaceships, lots of cool colors. You've got orange, you've got light blue, lots of orange, lots of light blue.
It's just a lot going on there. Speaking of a lot going on, check out these fantastic mechs here, and we've got an entire arena built around it. I don't know if these are based on any like specific property or anything.
Not that I'm aware of. I believe they are all just custom designs, and each of them has kind of like, it looks like a different thing. Some of them are on wheels, some of them are on feet. But it looks like almost like a racetrack, which would be kind of cool to look at.
Yeah, that's super fun there. I like the variety of designs as well. Another large Star Wars build. It looks like this one actually has some like screenshots of kind of what the builder was depicting.
I believe this is a map from Battlefront 2, if I'm correct. So I guess it's simulating kind of an in-game with some Easter eggs of the player actually playing on the map.
Next to that is a, let's see, I think a Marvel build, and you've got kind of a comic store in there with the comics all over the ground. Thor, if you're trying to figure out what's going on.
The comic pops. They're all over the street. They popped out, that's for sure.
More Blacktron here. So Blacktron really well represented at BrickFair this year. A lot of fantastic builds.
Lots of space this year. Like space and Star Wars are usually pretty tied, but space has got a lot of stuff out this year.
Then we've seen this one before. The Puff 47 looks great there. This is a big transport, so these are all large spaceships. Get the iconic Cloud City going on there. Some more Star Wars builds, some recruitment posters as well, very important. You got to keep the builders coming in every year.
Of course. That's the only way to do it.
I love this build here with the kind of micro force perspective in the background. It looks like there's some lights and things being added as well, but that's really nice.
That is really cool.
Some more Blacktron ships, and then this one from Blacktron 2. So you can see like yellow and black versus kind of the white and green and black. The color scheme changes a bit, but this is a behemoth. It's looking good.
All the Blacktron. I like the lime green. I think like the old trans yellow and the new lime green it works out in transition really nicely.
And then here we have going to more, familiar modern day. This is the Space Shuttle Discovery. And I like how they put the parts count on here, 3,200, 2,200. They really have no idea. Classic Lego answer.
Something like that.
And the Y-Wing next to that. Star Wars scene, and then some display cases. These are like do-it-yourself display cases, so I think the builder did this to maybe kind of serve as some inspiration for how people could display their Lego.
I guess so, and to protect some old, sealed, very valuable sets as well.
Some smaller vignettes in here. All looking fantastic. This is some kind of Star Wars facility. I think a jail facility. Well, I like the lights on this one, look really good. And then this Clone Wars battle on an unknown planet. And that finishes out this section. We can take a look real quick at this display over here. So this is a builder with a massive Lego crane, and I like all these it's got all these like post-it notes in addition to the mock cards on the front here that he's hanging. So this thing is very impressive.
Yeah, he's been running it. Now that he's got the construction area set up, I'm assuming there's some kind of path and stuff that it's supposed to do to actually interact with all of that, which was really cool to watch.
We'll definitely circle back around for a full video kind of checking that whole thing out. We'll come down here now as we walk this direction. You can see on the left is GBC. We will, of course, bring you a Great Ball Contraption video as we always do every year from BrickFair. It's not up and running right now. But that takes us to the hard lug section here. And at the moment, it looks like there's maybe an airport that's being set up here.
Yeah, I think this is where a lot of their big city airport stuff is going to end up being. I believe Hard Lug's the one that always brings like the big airfield.
And while they're working on that, we'll take a look at some naval yards. And then some more builders hard at work here as we move around the corner. This is a massive medieval layout that kind of spans this whole section right here.
Yeah, this is really cool. You go from a lot of high elevation, you've got waterfalls, super cool, nice colored foliage in the back, and it kind of transitions into like the big open village. Figures all over the place. Army building, you've got villagers, anything you could want in a medieval is here.
I love the multicolored tents kind of representing the different factions and all the food pieces there and the feast in the back. Lego food pieces have always been some of my favorite elements to see how they're used.
I like how they use the technique from the blacksmith shop, I believe, with the shield pieces to use the roofs, and they've kind of taken that in different areas. There's all kinds of different colors to represent on all different types of structures.
And kind of get to the water at the end of this scene, and that finishes that out. So a whole bunch of stuff. I think that was a collaborative layout there, a number of builders who worked on that. You see the classic space plushies in the back there on top of a kind of larger version of an old classic space set. And then some smaller builds down front here. There's some kind of collectible card there.
It's a Yu-Gi-Oh card, and it's the Lego rendition of Block Golem, which is really funny.
There we go. Not something you see at every show. And we've got the days following D-Day here. I love the men hidden kind of in the field. That's a really nice effect.
Yeah, this year and we've already seen a few, and we're going to see some more. There's a lot of cornfields this year. And obviously, like the classic wheat field using those half Technic pins is always great to see on those black lever pieces. It really adds just that extra little non-linear contrast to a build like that.
As a resident of the great state of Indiana, I always appreciate more corn representation out in the Lego community.
Of course, of course.
Then we have Felucia here, so some more Star Wars builds, very colorful. This big fish is built with kind of upscaled bricks. Then you've just got the regular sized boat on top.
Just the regular one. You don't need a big scale boat. It's not going to fit there. But the fish below it, the fins are built with the teal brick separators.
Fantastic technique. Greenhouse next to that. Then we've got Jack Stone hanging out in Yellowstone National Park. And this massive fish tank, this is a 280-gallon fish tank. It looks like it was built by a whole bunch of different builders here. I already love what they're doing with like the black lights on here. The sunken ships look amazing. There's lots of mermaids having fun.
Yeah, this is yet another one of those underwater builds that we're going to see. And their ground cover, it looks like they kind of put their sections in at different angles and filled in all the gaps with loose studs, which is cool because it kind of gives off the effect of just a completely natural rolling seafloor.
Something that's cool here is the way that they actually filled out the water section with fish. And so it's not just kind of the base coral that you see a lot of people do, but you feel like you're looking into kind of a complete snapshot of an underwater world.
Right, and I think part of it too, they kind of give the force perspective with the blue wall in the back. You kind of have a much idea of how deep it actually is and what they're trying to represent.
Another water-themed build here with this boat race. And then next to that is the Lego Oasis, and this I love as a Johnny Thunder kind of classic adventures fan. They're just kind of packing a whole bunch of stuff here onto this display with this little Oasis, and then all the trucks showing up full of all sorts of goodies there.
They're all ready to go.
This next one we've seen before. This is a Corsair build, which is large and looking fantastic, and of course has the moving propeller on the front, which always looks great.
Absolutely beautiful build.
Rounding the corners, a micro little USS Arizona, and then a slightly larger build here. This is called Raising Arizona. Oh, we see some play features being shown off here. I love it. This is a representation of the Arizona in November of 1941. I love to see that. Looking good. Lots of movement there. We'll definitely be circling back to this for a more in-depth video later on.
For sure. The cleanliness of the tile and the deck, and obviously all the movement of the guns is just something really, really cool to look at.
And now we get back to the beginnings of that airport that we were mentioning earlier. So this is going to be like a crazy huge section of layout.
They're a lot bigger than I remember being last year, but they've got all the new road plates. They've all got all kinds of lights for all the different runways, tons of planes. And if this extends that far, I'll be back here tomorrow to see what it all looks like before the public comes in for sure.
We'll walk around the corner to make sure we hit one of these sections in the middle here and make sure we try not to forget anything. We always do our best whenever possible to bring you complete coverage. So we'll go to the section over here. Yep, we haven't done this one here yet. And we start with some really nice jewelry, and you can see the mannequins kind of showing off the variety of jewelry and hats and things here. So it's amazing what you can do in kind of even a fancier artistic version.
Yeah, it's not something you see a whole lot at BrickFair, and neither is this really. You've got a massive Duplo diorama, which is really cool to see. It's not something that everybody does. It's a lot of people use it as filler brick, and you never see it, but it's cool to see Duplo and some of the other more creative people coming out here and really representing for them.
I love the contrast of having that Duplo display next to the fancy jewelry back there. Here we have friends using some of these kind of, it's a mix of base plates and also kind of road plates and things like that. So you can see a whole friends layout going on here. And we have the drum and bugle corps layout here. It's a lot of dedication there to get all of those similar figures laid out perfectly.
As a band kid in high school, I can very much appreciate this build.
There you go. And I mean, the entire field laid out, they really got it all there. We get into a nice city layout, and you start to see the first of some of our kind of modular buildings, one under construction as well.
Right, and even some of the older classic Lego modulars that have been modified to kind of fit the theme that they were going for as well.
And then kind of a farmer's market with farms and fields growing all sorts of stuff. You mentioned corn earlier. We see it again.
More corn, more corn.
You got the barns in there using the John Deere tractor piece. And then something very different with space. And I love the movement on this build over here. So this is the Mars well, and part of the Lugs Moonbase collab, it says. So this is super cool. I love how much movement you get going on in there.
It is really, really cool.
And then you just got a baseball here as well. And another nice, this is kind of like a train track, Technic type build here.
There's probably some movement in there somewhere. I just don't know where.
That finishes out that section, and we'll move across to Empire Lug now. So Empire Lug is one of those groups that we see represented at many shows that we attend. We'll start here with this huge invasion of Theed. This was done by, I think, a couple of different builders that collaborated on this. And these builders have kind of gone in different directions. Instead of kind of a ton of action and lots of minifigs battling it out, it feels pretty peaceful when you first walk up to it until you start to kind of look around.
The focus definitely seems to be more on the detail of the landscape, the buildings, and just kind of the overall actual courtyard, as opposed to, now, don't get me wrong, all the figures are cool, but where they have everything set up, it's kind of two main actions of stuff going on, and then just the beauty of the actual landscape itself.
And in contrast to the beauty of the landscape, we have all this carnage of Krell, as this is called. I will say the landscaping is done very well here using these tires. What a great technique that is. You've got some guys battling it out. A couple guys don't look so good there.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite arcs from the Clone Wars. When I saw this was coming, I had to come and see it. The way that the dome is shaped is absolutely beautiful, and kind of the contour up and then back out on the command tower as well. The Starfighter is also beautifully built.
Shout out to Owen. Yeah, did not make it easy on himself here with those techniques that you were talking about. Again, something that's not easy to do with Lego.
Definitely not. And the way that he has it so clean, all the lines kind of fold into one another.
And this is Matt Finelli here. This is the Brick Whiz, as you might know him, doing a Top Gun Maverick build. I absolutely love this. That was one of my favorite movies last year. Really, really incredible. And I like kind of, again, like we were talking about with the Star Wars build earlier, just kind of a focus on the landscaping.
Right, and how clean you get the landscape, and like even something as flat as he has the water, minus the couple rock works and things like that. And just how clean the trees look. You only really need that one focal point to just make the build pop.
I also want to point out this build right here, which is far superior to his Top Gun build, but he decided to throw that on as well.
Best build we've seen so far.
Then we have Battle of Hoth, but just kind of a slice of it. So a different approach here, kind of going a little taller, giving a little slice of the Battle of Hoth. And some smaller Star Wars scenes. And Maul's Rampage in here. And Tales of the Jedi next to that. Again, we see some nice kind of rounded technique building. Then we see Doctor Who. Doctor Who, not something you see tackled real often with Lego, so that's cool.
Yeah, not a lot. And one of the things with Empire Lug, like that you see in a lot of the builds, and you'll see with all of their members, is that they really push kind of the limit of what you can do with Lego as far as shaping goes, as far as just size and cleanliness of how everything is built. And it's really awesome to see come out to these shows.
Some more Hoth, but with some Minecraft mixed in, so combining two very popular properties there. and some tanks, it looks like, from Star Wars. And then we get ourselves a nice tall tower here. What is this from?
This is from Star Wars Rebels. This is the Imperial Communications Center on Lothal, I'm pretty sure. So there's an episode where they basically go to send out a signal to all the other rebels in the galaxy, and they get met by the Empire. So this is, I guess, what they're trying to depict with this.
I'm looking at the mock card. You're right once again. There you go.
I'm on it tonight. I'm on it.
I love this clean-looking chessboard here. So this doesn't even look like Lego at first, which is always one of those crazy things when you walk up to something and you can't even quite recognize it as Lego, but it is. Those are all Lego tiled pieces there.
Yeah, so that was Lee Roberts who built that one, and he said he had it at Brickworld as well, and that they were just had it in the middle table and people were playing chess all weekend.
I'm glad it's on display now so we can appreciate it out here. We've got a Havoc Marauder here that's looking great on display. And then some more Star Wars and a whole bunch of flags in here. So this is, it looks like all NATO themed maybe?
That's what it looks like, and it looks like each one is kind of has a representation and a little description of, I guess, when they joined and kind of the background of that country, which is really cool to see because you don't ever see stuff like this, at least not that I've seen at the LEGO shows. So,
with world events being what they are, NATO has been in the news much more, so it kind of made that a more prescient type display that a lot of people might be interested in. Moving on now, we have a large Indiana Jones collab, I believe. I think a lot of these are by different builders. And, you know, we had the new Indiana Jones movie come out this year, so I think this was something a lot of people wanted to get in on.
Yeah, so Empire Lug, they have a big one similar to how Salty did theirs, where we've got a lot of different scenes depicting different stuff from different movies. Everyone kind of picked their favorite scenes and did a really great job capturing really the aesthetic of those movies.
And these are fantastic here. I love, like, these boat builds here. I mean, that's, again, not an easy shape to do. Just the formation of the water there and everything is really, really nice. Clinging to the bridge, and then the palace there. Oh, this one is nice with the lighting. Very, very cool. And then you can see the professor in the office and the famous gun scene there. Looking fantastic. And then I think this is all Avatar, the Blue People Avatar.
Yeah, some Avatar stuff. I haven't seen any of those movies, but it looks like they use some of the newer Avatar figures and models with some of their own custom ships and figures to create those little like exo mech suits, which are really nicely designed with all those little pieces.
Yeah, I think the level of detail here is just super impressive, even getting the minifigures right and everything. Then the other Avatar represented next to that here also looks super impressive in a variety of styles, the kind of minifigure scale, and then also larger kind of action figure construction scale there as well. Then we have, this is I think kind of a futuristic battle. This is Russia 2038 over here. And so you don't see this type of stuff kind of done too often. Usually it's like a cyberpunk vibe if you're going to do something in the future.
Yeah, so Hunter brought a part of this last year, I believe, and he's been working on expanding it over the last couple weeks. And he has a interesting place with how he builds like the era, I guess, to an extent. It's technically modern or postmodern, but like you said, you see super postmodern with the cyberpunk stuff, whereas this is closer to modern day era with vehicles and figures than you see in something like the cyberpunk stuff.
And the only thing better than one chess set is two, so here we have another one. Similar style, I would say, as well. Looks very, very nice. Another kind of just slice of a castle build here with the tower. Some really nice landscaping and a cliffside build up. And then this is the Black Falcons kind of visiting a friend out in the fields. Oh, I love the cottage build there, and those colors are so nice.
Yeah, the use of the claw pieces in nougat. I think that's regular nougat for the roof, like the thatched roof, mixed with the yellow and some of the dark orange in the trees. It's very vibrant colors, and it pops very nicely.
Medieval archway, and then some other really nice coloring here with this fantasy house. And these small Star Wars builds kind of take us to the end of the Empire Lug section here now. So we can continue to make our way around. So I know we've covered some of this, so we will walk down the aisle and make sure that we get to another new section for everyone. So we can go down. We saw this lightsabers earlier. You can see, shout out to the builders on the ladder over here, New Hashima. That's always such a project to get that thing put together. Watching them do that at BrickWorld Chicago was just crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely a little sketch, but when it's done and it's all set up, it's extremely pretty, so it's all worth it.
This brings us now to another square. We start right here with Apple Park. This is the iconic Apple headquarters campus out in California, represented in wonderful micro scale. Next to all of these micro scale buildings here, and I think a lot of these are maybe fire stations, it looks like.
It looks like, and they all look like representations of actual fire departments all over the place. They've got their own little tiles that kind of tell you which one each one is, which is cool to see. You don't see a lot of stuff like this where it's real world representations of real buildings, especially not at micro scale.
And then there's a country club build there. This is very interesting. That's called Iron Lung. Not even entirely sure what's happening there. And then a little micro spaceship. Here we have Cornerstone Chapel. So this is a real building in Leesburg, Virginia. Shout out to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, an icon of BrickFair, being so close by. Many people visit that during the show.
Fire department, chapel, Chick-fil-A. That's all you need.
Then, of course, the mini modulars and Lego Island, an absolutely iconic game. A lot of my childhood was spent playing Lego Island 2, so I absolutely love this to see that represented here. Oh, this Mountain Dew bot looking good. He's kind of taking a break, sitting down.
The can for the chest piece, it's purest, 100% purest.
Some more kind of Mosaic builds back there. And then this is Basilica here in Washington, D.C. This is the Synthwave Sunset by Duncan. Very clean. Newberry Inn from the Hidden Side theme. Oh, I love these kind of bees and creatures in here, and even some drawings.
Kind of a take on like the Lego floral sets, and then when they did the bird sets, people kind of took that idea and ran with it and created their own renditions of what they saw, which is awesome.
We've got some koalas causing some trouble in there. That's a pretty funny build there. And then the classic art time with markers. Next to that, it looks like maybe a D&D type scene here. At least you've even got the dice roller out here. So this is super packed. So many details in there.
This is really cool. I almost expect that like people would use this as like an actual D&D gaming board, which would be so cool to do because you have all the different rooms where you can put all kinds of fun details. It'd probably be an absolute blast.
Next to that, we have the Desert Fox Assault, so you get some more World War II action going on here. And then something very different from the desert. This looks like an elves. This is the Battle of Telesar. So I want to say this is maybe a Lord of the Rings type scene.
Something around that realm, yeah. It doesn't quite say, but definitely elves versus orcs within that world for sure.
And the trees here, I think, are what make this build stand out so much. And just not only the builds, but kind of the variety of them, and the colors look great.
Right, yeah, the kind of what seems to simulate the birch with the different colored plates within the trunks up to the very colorful. You've got magenta, the light like aqua blue, dark orange, yellow. It's absolutely amazing.
Then we have a large black fire-breathing creature here with a big battle going on. And you can see the builder is turning on the lights right now, so thank you very much. So, of course, yeah, you got to make that fire pop, get all those lights going. We're going to have the World of Lights kind of going on later tonight when they'll shut off some of the lights in the hall here, and you'll be able to really appreciate all this.
And the eyes on the dragon, I love it.
Fantastic work, thank you. And you can see kind of micro versions. Once again, a great use of the brick separator piece in those builds.
To create some water dragons.
Here's a Viking ship ride, so kind of the classic carnival experience. And moving down here through all these tables is some character minifig vignettes, and these are always super fun to just kind of look through and pick out some of your favorites and see what catches your eye.
Yeah, the huge habitat display, everybody's got the standard. You pick what figures you want, you create the scene for them, and everyone sets them up. Everyone is so different that there's always something new to look at when you walk up to the table.
You even get mixtures of different styles of pieces, like the Duplo dinosaur there. It's like with maybe a scientist. It's a little Lego store. You could look at this for an hour and still not pick up every little detail going on in here. And they even have the Habitat's brick-built lettering at the top there. I like this horse that's just like chilling with a bunch of dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Really fun stuff there. And then we go into some micro-scale cities here. And it looks like you've got kind of large estates, some Ninjago type builds there. I love the brick built brick.
Yeah, that's really cool. And like you see like the big bricks that people build out of huge system bricks, and then you see like I guess MIDI scale bricks in micro scale. It's like, but each section seems to kind of have its own mock cards. Like every different chunk of this is something else.
I also want to give a shout out. Check out how organized these builders are here. I mean, they brought just like a fantastic looking display of parts to work with.
If only we could all be like them.
Continue to try and improve. So this is Lego Loveworks. So you've got kind of the BrickFair logo in there, and then again, like we were saying, kind of those upscaled bricks.
Right, the minis, like the MIDI scale bricks. They're really cool.
This is a still life. It's a graphite drawing of a Lego still life that then it looks like the builder built out of all white bricks. So a great combination of both kind of pencil art and brick build art.
Yeah, this year has got so many cool things that you really just don't see, and that's definitely one of them.
This is Uncharted diorama here, so I think based on Uncharted games. Great sense of drama there in that scene. A little Yavin 4. Then we've got Horizon Zero Dawn here. I've not played this game, but I'd love to see the builds based on it.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I like that they chose to use the lime green instead of regular green or any other aspect of green for the landscape. It really lights it up much more, like it's much more vibrant compared to like the trees and foliage and stuff.
Here we have some Lego cameras, working vintage cameras. So this is fantastic here. Very, very cool. And you can see, are these photos actually taken by the cameras? Okay, there's even a selfie with the builder there. Thank you so much, great work. And then some smaller scenes kind of encased in plastic display cases, always trying to sort of keep that dust off. Dust is the enemy of every Lego fan.
Dust is always the enemy. I have a paintbrush that I keep in my bin, and every show it goes to dust everything off.
Well, I like these stacked up vignettes here. This is Edgar Allan Poe vignettes. That's a super fun display there. Really, really creative idea. And then a little castle on the hill. I like the Christmas time display there.
I like the depth perception there. There's different layers from front to back that really just kind of push the whole build in and then back out when you're looking at it from a distance.
And with these scenes here, that finishes out this section for us. We'll actually move over, I think, to the wall side here and check all of this out. So we'll start with a really, really nice display here. This is both a city, kind of underwater, kind of combined display that runs this side of the corner and all the way around the front. There's so much happening here.
Yeah, so again, you got some more underwater going on. So this is Wamalug's big collaboration this year. They did a whole beachfront display. This side is all elevated. They've got this massive kind of, not boardwalk, but like strip cityscape with the actual boardwalk that runs all down this side.
So we can go around the corner then now, and you can start to see there's like an arcade there. You've got the seagulls being very annoying to some of the people on the beach, and some really unique kind of buildings and things there as well as you move down here. I don't even know what's happening there, but you probably shouldn't be near that.
Probably not. The lights inside, I mean, definitely give off like a vibe of like a rave going on with the dragon and whatever else is happening on top, but I don't know if I'm going in that building.
And then some surf shops, kind of your classic beach shops. I really like this technique for the roof there that kind of combines all those windows up, and more chests underneath.
More chests, and then right next to it, you've got the good old bathhouse. You always got to have a bathhouse somewhere.
And the Islander themed tiki hut is so good. Islander is one of my favorite themes there with the pirates and everything. Then, of course, the large Wamalug sign, as you mentioned, this is their display. Oh, we've got a metal detectorist here, kind of finding maybe something Indiana Jones left behind.
Something there. Somebody's digging a hole over here. Someone's building a sandcastle. You've got all the beach activities for sure displayed here.
And then a classic space tower at the end, because why not?
Gotta have it.
And we start to see this is the arcade, I think it is there. So you see kind of like a pirate ship design. Then you've got this large build at the end here, and this is, let's see what this says. This is Wayne Manor. Oh, this is a bat cave, so this kind of transitions into Batman.
And the whole thing opens up, and if it's closed up, you can't see it, and you just see the Wayne's Manor. But when it's all opened up, you see the whole interior. It'd be really cool if see if there's lights in there to light up everything that's underneath.
That always is such a struggle, is if you don't have lights on these types of builds, then you can't appreciate a lot of those interior details.
Especially stuff that's covered up from the top. You know, if your only view is from the front, if you light up even just some of the stuff in the back, it makes the whole underneath of it pop so much more.
Here we see Rebels reunion happening, and then some habitats, kind of workplace environments. Over here we have some familiar builds that we've seen at past Brick Fairs. These are kind of Egyptian inspired. You get some adventures type stuff mixed in.
Yep, this is their big Pharaoh's Labyrinth display that they've had for a couple of years that I believe they keep adding stuff to, and we've got all the big classic modules that we've seen for a couple of years now too.
The mummies are really giving them a battle here. The adventurers camp. It's the marketplace chase in here. And I love like the big hall of Anubis. So many fun scenes throughout this whole layout. Here's the bold and the boulder. The adventure wasn't fast enough this time, sadly. It's just the hat and the skeleton.
The alternative ending to that scene of the movie, for sure.
Ooh, I like this labyrinth here with the Minotaur. Some guys hoping to survive. And the false chamber of the golden frog. And then, of course, the Sphinx at the end. And then finishing out this section, just an incredible build here. This is a huge model of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. For scale, you can see the official Lego architecture set down below there, and then this behemoth rising up above it.
So this is actually built by one of my lug mates, Slade Van Tyne, and he's been building this for the last several months. We were over here helping him set it up. Each layer of the section where all the pillars are is its own module, and everything had to get stacked on top of it. And it is actually leaning. The base is built so that it does lean just slightly.
Do you know the height of this thing?
I believe it's almost 5 feet. With it on its table, it's over 6 feet.
Yeah, I believe that's crazy. Incredible work there. Turn around here and we have a train layout. We haven't seen a whole lot of train action so far, but we're starting to see some in here with a large train going around the tracks there, and then lots of buildings inside, especially like the Metro motors here, the lights and the cars inside.
Yeah, I mean, the lights on the inside definitely light up the sales floor, but the lights behind the trans red in the sign is what my eyes are really drawn to.
Little Chili's there, and we'll keep moving around the corner now. We've got our Marvel battle happening, and there's a ton happening in here, both with the lights. I think just about every Marvel character represented somehow here, even all the buildings as well.
I don't even know where to look. There's stuff moving, there's stuff blinking, there's stuff all over the place. You got superheroes, everything. It's absolutely awesome.
A nice movement there. Yeah, looking really good. Then we've got a nice funicular here, which is not only a fun word to say, but it's also super fun to ride as well. And this is a great depiction of this with the landscaping and the buildings, and then the train cars moving up and down.
Yeah, I concur completely.
Here we've got Home Sweet Home. And then another kind of city layout. We've got the actual Chick-fil-A cow just kind of chilling up there. What else do you spot here?
There's a Steak and Shake. There's Comics and More with a pizza dude out front. You've got an IHOP in the corner. You've got the Cliffside Barbecue looking over the harbor area. And the Stormtrooper Party Bus, of course. Can't forget the Stormtrooper Party Bus.
Absolute rager inside there. That's fantastic. But then I love the water scenes here, and you've got some pirate ships going on. See the builders still putting this one together, getting it ready for the public. But there's just kind of so much depth to this with the city streets and the multiple lines of modular buildings.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, like it being Friday night here while we're recording this part of the video, there is still tons of work to be done before the public gets in tomorrow.
Yeah. You, of course, are always responsible and have everything done far in advance.
Of course, yeah.
Finish out kind of the display here with the Daily Bugle and some takes on the modular buildings. There's even lower section, which is always a super fun idea, especially for the smaller kids, so they're able to have something kind of more at eye level.
Yeah, and it looks like the left one seems to be representing something similar to the Batcave, and then the right side you've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which are all cool pop culture references that definitely will draw some eyes.
We get the pool up top. We've got a little fire happening here. That's not looking so good, but it does look like we've got some firemen on the scene, so hopefully they'll have that taken care of soon. Little Wonka, and then that takes us back to this section where we started, and we can keep going over here now. So we can can go over to this square here. Yeah, we'll try to go somewhat in order so we don't lose track. You know, there's so many different display areas. It's easy to do. But this is some of the castle medieval stuff. This is one of the more unique displays here, a very different approach to castle with the mecha knights. And it looks like maybe like a gate or a portal going on here.
Something like that. And contrary, like usually castles, it's all gray. In this, there's a lot of dark blue, and it really sets it apart from the super clean rockwork that's all light bluish gray, and it looks absolutely fantastic.
So it's almost like a Nexo Knights type of vibe a little bit, but just like looks really nice. It doesn't have the crazy over-the-top colors that Nexo Knights had.
Right, and it also, like, it's a lot more landscape on the exterior than it actually is castle structure, which is cool, because like all the castle stuff, you got the front wall, you've got the top section, but there seems to be a lot happening behind the scenes that maybe we can't see.
And more of the classic take on a castle display, you've got this large battle happening kind of out front here as the Black Falcons are sallying out to give battle to, let's see, I'm not sure which faction this is here. It's like maybe some Lion Knights there, and then some skeletons have decided to join the fray on the right side, a wizard conjuring them.
It's a party out in front of the main gate, that's for sure.
And then inside, there's tons of stuff happening as well, especially with the detailed interior there. It might be a little difficult to see past these high fortified walls, but the inside of this looks fantastic as well. This is just really a really cool display all the way around. As we move down across the gap, then we have this D&D sort of style display. So this is kind of like what we saw earlier as well.
Yeah, it looks like it. And all the different rooms, the angles of some of the hallways, and kind of the elevation change between the different rooms. That these seems to be like some secret rooms and stuff like that, all with the characters doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It's really cool.
I love builds like this you can sort of play through with a story, and I think that captures so much of the fun and creativity of what LEGO is able to do. Now out front here, we're used to seeing this maybe with like the Star Wars fans in the Army building, but this is really taking it to some kind of a next level here. This is Jason Miller with his Defense of the Samurai Wall. He doesn't say how many minifigs are here, but it's got to be in like 1,000 plus.
I don't know how many it is, but I saw them in the bins in his basement. He's also from Charm City Lug, and this is not his only build with a ton of figures on it here. But this is his massive army of the samurai, and just like the sheer amount of figures is insane.
One thing that's cool here is the mock card says that this is based on medieval Japan and like actual defense of fortified structures. So kind of some actual historical kind of layout built into this.
I'm not super familiar with that era of history, but I'll believe him.
And this ship looks great as well in the corner, so kind of breaking it up with some water there, not just kind of the white ice snow effect. The wall itself is fantastic as well. Just a really unique approach to that type of a build. Here we have a variety of, it looks like maybe this is a bit of a timeline, so it's like a series of castles in different styles. So you've got the original, then some ruins, kind of the round tower, lava, all the way to what looks like something sort of futuristic.
Yeah, it looks like it, and it kind of like, it looks go different eras, different colors. You've got kind of like the black shadow with all the fire, the white rounded one that seems to be much more like mellow. You've got the old gray, obviously, but.
And some more mechs. I think this actually kind of goes back to the mech knights that we saw earlier. So this is kind of the variety of mechs based on different castle factions that we've seen there. So that will finish that section out and take us over to this large rectangle of some military builds. At the beginning here, you can see, I believe this is the G.I. Joe collab that takes place every year.
Yep, so this is Magnus's big display. He decided to go a little smaller after last year.
And there's the man himself in the background, hard at work as always.
Hard at work putting all the figures on before tomorrow morning, but yeah, he's got this, and we've got a bunch of other military stuff that we're going to take a look at. But he's got the big section, he's got all of his vehicles, all of his figures, everything's getting set up for the public.
Speaking of vehicles, you can see a ton of them on display here in a great variety, both colors, styles, whether it's in the air, on the ground, you name it, it's here.
And just the sheer quantity of vehicles. The fact, it spans 4 8-foot tables of vehicles just by themselves is absolutely insane.
And I think this is all still part of G.I. Joe. It says it's Cobra Forces. These colors here are just like bizarre looking. Looks like something from like the Joker.
I guess so. I haven't seen those, but
here we get into something a little more realistic, a little more kind of World War I based with this scene up here, and a variety of planes and tanks.
Different aircraft, and then it looks like there's an X-Wing hiding back there as well. And then we get into a lot of Evan and some of the other guys who build these really amazing camo patterned vehicles that they bring out every year.
And yeah, here you just go for that really sort of realistic looking detail. I even love the details here on this Humvee with the stuff kind of thrown on the top there for supplies. That's really neat.
Yep, all the different little details they throw on them just add that extra little touch.
And then some tank scenes. You even got some helicopters here that look really nice. And then you get into a bit of an airfield. And so this is going to be all your planes and helicopters, kind of complete with a lot of the buildings and things to house them.
Yep, yeah, so this is a big, everyone brings sections of the airstrips, and this is where they really show off some of their newer aircraft that they bring with them every year. And they've got just all kinds of fun stuff going on in this display.
I think this one here, we gotta point that out. It's kind of some of the top tier work that you see on display at BrickFair. This is why you come to LEGO conventions.
Of course, the best aircraft over here by far, yeah.
Moving across to the next table section now, you start to see some more tanks and really nice vehicles. Here we see a bit of a different color scheme going with that all gray effect.
Yep, all gray. You've got even some black worked in there as well, and then even just the one with the solid gray also.
And then down from there, we've got this Hello insertion. So this is by Simon Liu, I believe here, and just look at the masterful work with the broken windows and the details inside there.
And I was talking to him about this the other day. He has a full interior built into this. There's lights on the base that light up the elevators and everything. They're set up in ambush. He's got details packed into every corner of this display.
Here's some Indonesian gardens here, and the mosaic sort of floor work in there is just spectacular. Next to that, we have some of Matthew Hacker's planes here. Then we get into some larger planes, eventually with Jack's. This is Big Planes Air Force One. She actually had an even much larger Air Force One a while back at BrickFair that we have a video on the channel as well. Kind of scaled it down a bit here, but looks spectacular.
Scaled it down, but it's still almost 4,000 pieces, as it says. So
we have another looking like what's a World War II build.
Yeah, so Nolan brought this one. He finished building it this morning, but he's got lights in it, really nice detail. Everything is just so clean, and it looks great.
Tackling some more aircraft here, some of them kind of on runways, some of them just kind of on the tables displayed. This big P8 Poseidon there looks fantastic. Once again, I love to see the parts all laid out on the table. As you start to see this next layout, you kind of see behind the scenes the build process.
Yep, hard at work, have been for a couple days, and we'll see if they get it finished, but a really nice looking cityscape.
Moving around that, we have some more planes here, and some of these you start to see with kind of the custom decals and graphics and things that add that extra realistic element.
And that's one of the things that a lot of these guys do. You know, Yasser or Ralph, all of those guys, they'll make their own decals to make their planes just that much more realistic.
And some very unique color schemes with the white and gray camo, and then the blue kind of colors there as well, and even kind of the red planes in the back.
Yeah, Eli brought these. He brought a bunch of different stuff, and I think a lot of them are similar designs, all in different color schemes and different camo patterns as well.
And then some helicopters. Oh, we've got the A-10 Thunderbolt Frenzified, along with a tank in the back.
Yep, Frenzified, the same woman who built the Tinkerbell, brought the A-10 with her, and definitely a different visual aesthetic outside of the figures, but it looks fantastic.
And this Concorde is looking great as well. This is 6,000 Lego pieces, also by Jack, who we mentioned earlier. Really, really fantastic. Just an iconic aircraft.
Yep, super clean. We have a few civilian aircraft over here, and this is one of them before we move into this massive experimental military collaboration.
Okay, very cool. As we take a look at these, tell us a little bit more about this collab.
So I believe all of these are aircraft or vehicles that were tested at some point that either never saw use or something like that. I'm sure when you would do a much more in-depth video, Ralph will give you a better overview of what it is, but these guys always bring out these awesome info cards that tell you about every single build that's on the table, and the sheer just variety of stuff here is fantastic.
I love covering the military collabs like this at BrickFair because just the amount of knowledge contained with the different builders. I mean, forget even just the building skills, which are incredible on their own. Just the amount of knowledge and background information they have on these different builds is amazing.
Yep, a lot of us will do that. We take the time out to just push that extra little bit just to get something else on the table. The mock card can say so much, but these little blurbs that we put out in front of it just tells even more of a story.
And shout out to our good friend Einan here in Portugal. We featured his work in the past. He's been a part of some of these collabs. This is his display right here with this ship and some of these, it looks like kind of missiles as well.
Yeah, he's got the USS Long Beach, I believe it is, and then he's got some missile stuff all set and all part of this, as well as the metal chest, it looks like, which is also a really cool build. You don't see that much either.
He's been doing incredible kind of military builds for many years now, so it's always great to see his work. That'll finish out that section as we come back to G.I. Joe, and we'll now go ahead and go around the outside here. So this is another city section, even though we start with some Civil War there in the corner.
Nice little reenactment going on in the corner of the city.
Some trains and modular type buildings being worked on. Oh, I like this. Spooky campfire stories there. Again, using that tire technique is always a super fun idea. Really creative. The river adventure next to that. And then here's some like spinner collections. I think they're making an announcement. They're probably going to shut the lights off in a few minutes. We'll go up until they do that on us. So we'll keep going as long as we can here. This is some like Mad Max feeling vehicles almost.
Yeah, some different cool looking stuff. So we're in one of the mixed sections. This is where we're going to see a lot of really different things on display. Cool color schemes. You know, you've got that right next to some tracked vehicles with a hammer or razor saw, shark, something on top.
And then, very different from that, botanical collection. I love the botanicals Lego has done. These brick-built vases here to hold the flowers look fantastic. Little Sig Fig mosaic. Here's some Disney figures here. This section is super fun and unique. This is bizarre Lego, as you can see the graphic. And this is just all sorts of crazy, weird stuff that Lego has done over the years. So whether it's kind of like the collector's packs of things like you see with the Nintendo DS, Star Wars there's skateboards over here, there's kind of the big upscaled pieces, there's that UFO set with the giant mask.
You got a fairy wand back there, you've got just huge like Lego life-size like Lego elements. The skateboards are probably my favorite. The Lego Wii remote, I've never seen those before. Some really cool stuff.
It's really cool, and builders take the time to kind of collect this stuff and then bring it out and display for the public to appreciate. We've got the desert-themed vehicle going on there with the cactus. Then here's a nice kind of peaceful-looking island village. A Star Wars layout with some fantastic lights here as well. Not so peaceful.
Not so peaceful, but definitely some clean landscape as well, using a lot of the dark tan, light tan, even some more of the dark orange, medium nougat, to like the clean dark red carpeting up top with the spider droid is nice.
Over here we have a fantastic variety of builds. This delicate arch out front here, really, really incredible for people looking to road trip across the United States. One of my all-time great suggestions that everyone should see is to visit Arches National Park and visit the Delicate Arch, because it just looks incredible there. This builder's captured it really nicely. And then there's also the dog and kind of bear mosaic, kind of mosaic type builds, but really even much more than that whole scenes.
Right, they're like almost, they kind of give off the forced perspective kind of look. They've got that much more layer of depth to them than just a regular, tiled mosaic.
Really fantastic stuff there. Here we have a whole roller coaster layout, so you've got the big drop tower at the top there, but then it'll loop through. It looks like a whole building and everything as well, so there's a lot that can happen in here. I don't think it's running right now.
I don't think so.
And then at the end, you've always got a, safety first, so it's Emmett's vest made out of Technic.
You won't get run over in the parking lot wearing that is for sure.
Moving to the other side of the hall here, we start to have some Jurassic World layouts. There's a few of these by a few different builders. So I love kind of all the mountain landscaping here that creates that sort of jungle feel. But then you get into the buildings and some of the action on the right side.
Yeah, and like the contrast of all the color parts in the mountains and all the color contrast that they've used to kind of add some perspective to the water with the big aquatic dinosaur, I don't know what it's called, but with all the clear coming up behind it as if it's really protruding from the water is fantastic movement.
And then next to that is some more kind of Jurassic World, Jurassic Park inspired builds here that are all looking fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes, and you see trains here, so you're going to have some movement, I think, as well. Sure, we can turn on some movement real quick. There we go. Thank you so much. You got the different Jeeps and vehicles.
This one's actually coded so it stops along the way. Okay. So check us out on Instagram at Legoland Herndon. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Great work. Some houses. Oh, I like this swim meet. Just a lot of minifigures. Feels very kind of lifelike in there.
It really does, and like it's one of those things like people don't really bring stuff like that, and the people that do, they do a great job of it, and it's the little niche stuff like that you find, and they're the really cool builds to pick out of the crowd.
And a nice zoo here with a variety of enclosures. I love the penguins. Lego penguins are always going to be some of my favorite, along with the camel piece has been fantastic as well.
It's like they've got every kingdom represented with the color scheme and the animals acquainted with it.
Battle of Hogwarts next to that with this is a mock featuring Legoland Dubai commemorative bricks. Just kind of flexing on everybody here with all their Dubai bricks.
Really had to do it to them.
This next build is very intimidating looking. We've got a giant Red Skull. This is Castle Red Skull, which makes sense here. So kind of combining up Lego with action figures. What I'm trying to remember the name of what this is based on, like what show this is from.
I have no idea, but sand green and dark red go very nicely together.
Some wise person in the comments will inform us on what the inspiration for that was. We'll keep moving around here. This next build is super unique, both with the colors and the parts chosen here. So this is Mysterious Planet, which just looks really crazy here. It takes you a while to even figure out what you're looking at.
I still don't know what I'm looking at, but the foliage, the trans red kind of like arched hose or claw pieces, and then the big trans purple windscreen pieces used for these kind of utopian looking buildings it's stunning to look at.
Then you've got the Fire Flower in black light looking good. And then here we've got the Disney castle, but with added fireworks effects. It looks like the builders are getting that set up. Maybe some of the screens are still being worked on there, but that's great. The iconic kind of Disney fireworks show.
That does look really, really cool. In the shadow box, it really makes those light effects pop too.
And here's some kind of 2D type figures here. And I'm seeing some Yoshi's Island, some Smiling Friends there. Little Mario action, and we come around the corner to modular type city. Oh, I love this. Has interiors and lights in there. You don't see that super often.
And you see each level, each window has different heights of curtains, as if they are kind of at different heights. You can see more into some floors than others. It's really cool.
That's a really good point. Yeah, that's so cool the way the builders were able to do that there. And this fantastic Iron Man here, the lights kind of adding that realistic glow to everything looks great. Then next to that is Pac-Man, which obviously we've had the official Lego set, so I think a big interest there.
And I think these are side perspective mosaics, so they change from which side you're looking at them too.
Fantastic work. We'll move around to the cubicle on the other side here as we move to this square. We start with D-Day right here. It's kind of a slice of the beach and bunkers.
Yeah, so this is gonna be all military stuff again here. So we've got a great D-Day mock built by a young man who's this is his second year now, I believe, looking fantastic.
And we'll move around that side, go around the pillar here with some small but very detailed scenes, kind of variety of different scenes depicted there. And then here we've got an ambush in the woods. This is from the French and Indian War. So some nice landscaping, something it's kind of a war that you don't see depicted very often with Lego.
Yeah, not often. So this is Joshua Higgs, BrickFair, and he brings some really interesting stuff each year. He kind of strays away from the norm to an extent, and this is definitely one of them.
And then you see some more World War II inspired builds and lots of vehicles and trains here. Here you can see this year at BrickFair, they're giving out these album tiles. So on top of the train there, you get them and kind of trade and try to complete your album.
Yeah, everyone got four tiles in their goodie bags, and you kind of had to figure out which ones you had, and everyone's walking around the hall asking for certain ones, and it's a really fun game for everybody to play.
North Africa World War II scene, and then a train next to that. This little slice of the Nassau raid there looks really fantastic. And then some ships as well. So we got something under construction here. It's like Amiens, and they appear to be in the process of shutting the lights off on us. So we might have to end it here, folks, and pick back up tomorrow night. We'll end with this fantastic kind of chrome P-38 Lightning, and we will pick back up tomorrow night when we reconvene in military and finish out hopefully the rest of the tour, right? Do you think we can do it?
We'll do it. We'll make it happen for sure.
Okay, I like that spirit. We'll be back. We are back for our second night of recording for the tour here. Caden and I are going to launch back in and attempt to finish showing you the entire show floor here at BrickFair Virginia 2023. For those of you who might have stopped at the end of the last section, we are still in the military section here. So we are taking a look here at the Warsaw Uprising. You've got some great custom minifigs in this section.
Yes, this is built by Tyler or Waffen Bricks on Instagram, and he brought a really cool cityscape last year, and he definitely outdid himself this year, brought some bigger stuff, added some lighting, some really cool effects, really worked on his buildings. It looks incredible.
As you round the corner, you've got some tanks as well, and then smaller Operation Market Garden scene, the Battle of Maeda from 1806, and then you get some more battle scenes here. This is the Assault on Brecourt Manor from 1944. Nice, wonderful trench scene there. Really good job with the trees as well.
Yes, this is one of the scenes from the first couple episodes of the Band of Brothers series when the Easy Company is taking over the German gun positions after they landed on Normandy. And this was actually here last year, and I believe he expanded on it and added some additional detail this year, and it looks really good.
Going back to the Civil War, we have Pickett's Charge here. This is fantastic, especially like this unique kind of technique for the wall in front of the Union soldiers. I think that's pretty cool. They even went for like the different insignias on the battlefield as well.
Yep, he's got all the different flags, all the different troop formations, and the rock wall, the way he did that is probably my favorite part of this build, and definitely deserving of the best historical nomination for sure.
Now into something completely different, we have an Avatar battle and the Iraq War. And then we've got the Uptown Chambersburg. This is just kind of a city layout here. Caden is getting carded here momentarily. I had to step away.
That's one.
See how many times that happens tonight. We are recording during the 21 plus adult hours now, which is kind of nice because a lot of people clear out, so it makes it easier to show the builds.
Yeah, of course, and this is the first year that I won't get kicked out, so I'll be here the whole time.
I love it. Thank you. So this is a really fun little build. I especially love the way they did the lettering here on the sign. They've packed a lot into a small area here.
They really have, and they've included a lot of really cool colors in some of the buildings, some really cool prints, lots of different really wacky stuff that they found at some of the vendors here as well.
I think this was a new Citizen Bricks release. Shout out to Joe. Does awesome stuff. This is like the inflatable man here. Looks great.
Yeah, it really does. He's got some crazy new stuff that he brought to BrickFair this week.
And this is where we started, I think, here with this D-Day, so that finishes out this section. We'll come back and hit these mosaics here. We don't want to forget about the mosaics. Even though they did put them right beside the bathroom back here, we won't forget about them. This is Picasso line drawings here on the left. Got some nice animals. And then we've got a couple of X-Men by E.J. Bocan here as well. The really nice colors in there.
And they've modified the bathroom sign to tell you what theme is directly below it as well.
That's some next level work right there. I mean, that's how you advertise your builds. I love it. We'll hit this wall of mosaics as well back here. So right off the bat, we've got Mac Miller there, and then we've got a couple of Joe Zawada's builds, which are always fantastic to see. That's Steve Jobs, a Metroid build, Hogwarts, and looks like some Kermit and something from Mario, I think.
Yeah, and it looks like they're all built with frogs.
Oh, you're right. Wow.
Kermit the Frog made out of frogs.
Yeah, that is. You can't even tell that at first, especially from this distance. That's really cool. We've got a very colorful mosaic here, then the rainbow. Shout out to some snails. A couple more people here. Then someone made their dog. And we've got some logos and things, and then Jurassic.
There's one hiding back there too.
Yes, we do. We do want to mention this one over here. I guess we'll walk over and show this right now, just so we don't forget about it. Take a little walk through the chairs here. I think these are is this just because they ran out of space other places?
I believe so. I think this one had its own footprint somewhere back here, and then they had some overflow space that they breed some of the other ones.
They're making us get our exercise to come over and show you this, but this is spectacular here. This is the famous Presenting the Declaration of Independence painting, and it uses a bunch of 1x1 stud pieces to depict the painting. This is one of those that definitely looks better from a distance. I think your eyes kind of adjust the further away.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Like, the further you are away, you can pick up some more of the details, but it does look absolutely amazing. And the sheer size of it, too, you can see it from pretty much everywhere.
And there's a few more over here on the right that we'll show as well. So if you didn't notice already, this is where they do kind of the opening, closing ceremonies, some presentations and meetings and things here. We've got Kobe Bryant here. Then we've got Jack Sparrow and Elvis. And I think these are all Michael Jordan now as well. So kind of some sports, music, movies, some of everything right here.
Yep, a little bit of everything back here.
We will make our way back through the chairs now. And I think we have this. You shout out these nice people here on the left. I think just on the other side of that, we can do a little peek inside here. This is the mini golf, I believe. Yes, it is. So there you go. This is the iconic custom BrickFair mini golf. You can hit the course while you're out here at BrickFair. Have you ever played that, Caden?
I have not. I keep finding time to do it and then never actually go in there.
Man.
I should. One of these years, I totally should do it.
Yes. You got to take all the military builders and throw down on the mini golf course.
That would be an insane game of mini golf.
So we can go ahead and hit this up here. So this is the WAMA LTC. This is the local Washington, D.C. area train club. And you've got the Naval Heritage Museum right off the bat there. And then a giant section of harbor and water with beaches, tons of the modular buildings in the background there, lighthouse, something is on fire. Looks like the pizzeria got a little too intense with those pizzas.
Yeah, lots of super large displays here at this show, especially the big train clubs. And they've got tons of base plates, but it's all packed with all kinds of detail.
This section is great here with these rides out front, and then this flamingo, I'm assuming it's a hotel. Yeah, this is a hotel right here. I love the shaping on that. Here's a Sands kind of hotel as well. That's really fantastic. We get into more trains, some smaller restaurants and things. Ooh, I like this building here. Looks very nice. Some cool architecture there. I like the lines on that. This the train street crossing is there. You don't usually see people brick build that.
Yeah, I think or brick build, or a lot of people use like the tiles and stuff and connect it through like using clips, but they've got a Technic, almost looks like a counterweight on it.
Here's the new Friends Botanical Garden set, which I know has been extremely popular. A lot of people really enjoying that set. We've got this big floor and court. It's apartment building. This is a Cathedral Rose window. That looks great. This is from the Washington National Cathedral. I think that's based off of that there. Nice mansion. Here's a little construction site, putting up some more high rises, and then you get into the really tall buildings here. These are very impressive. Doesn't look like any of them have interiors, but some really great stuff there.
And this one especially giving me a run for my money with the amount of brick badge stuff that they got up there.
Someone who's had a lot of time to collect bricks here at BrickFair. Then you get some Disney for all the Disney fans here. I think we'll see some more Disney later on as well. I love this mobile bat lab here. That's pretty funny. And then Tower Bridge, rounding the corner, some Maersk ships, and then a crazy train yard. There's probably like 15 trains deep here.
At least, and every single one of them is different. It looks like you've got cargo trains, you've got passenger trains, some that are 2 decks, some that are 1 deck, some that are certain cars, box cars, all kinds of stuff. Really cool, different variation of different cars, different locomotive engines, I think is what they're called. Cool color schemes, really nice.
For those of you still joining us on the second half of the tour, leave a comment down below with your favorite of the trains on display here. You can tell us. Yes. We do have great color commentary going on here. Now we have a wonderful circus. These trains are amazing. This is just super colorful. I think this looks fantastic here. I love to see the use of all the Duplo elements as well.
Duplo elements, and even like all the different, I think Duplo has all the cool animal molds from even like way back when that they've used to really scale into the minifigs and make them look massive.
Speaking of animal molds, you see some waiting to get on the train here. This is kind of all dinosaur themed, including the train itself, the station, and all that. That looks great. Then we have Simon's Bakery, which is really cool. This actually had some really nice lights on it during the World of Lights that looked really fantastic as well. Thought that was super impressive. Flamingo. The Oasis Cafe here looks great. Then we have some creature coming from another dimension over here.
Yep, lots of cool buildings, lots of cool details. You know, the kind of modified modulars that you see really to fill out these city displays just adds a whole extra level of depth.
This building here, the Savings and Loan, looks fantastic. Shout out to Douglas. This is some really unique architecture, just captures that time period really nicely there. Here, this looks like actually this is Christ Church, actually based from Alexandria, Virginia, so real life building there. Got the local baseball team here. And then a bunch of minifigures in line to use the red telephone booth, including classic flesh tone Kevin Hinkle.
Kevin Hinkle finds an appearance somehow, some way, every time.
And we end with this bizarre creature on the end here. I'm not even sure what that is.
I have no idea.
That finishes out that section for us. So we'll go ahead and just cross the aisle here and launch into another large train and town layout. I'm not sure which group did this one at this point. We'll keep an eye out for that. But you've got a nice church and some buildings right off the bat here. They do kind of 2 wide tracks all the way around. And we come to this large windmill. It looks like their bridge has moved out of the way. Normally the red section would sit over the track there. But we should mention in the middle here, while we're here, is just a tremendous amount of more trains. I don't even know how many are there.
I have no idea. I know this is there's a modular train standard group that builds these massive train layouts, and I believe this is their layout. And they always have all kinds of trains, even like what we just saw with Bob and LTC on a whole nother, the L-gauge modular system is like the group that does this whole build.
Gotcha, that makes sense. Yeah, John was able to go in there, get a nice up-close shot of some more of those fantastic trains. These Friends characters out here having a good time. Then you get into sort of a train yard. Got a little shed there for the train. I like this little short one there. The river running through. But this building on the corner is super nice. This is the Point of Rock Station. I love the architecture on that. That looks great. And then this yellow and blue one is fantastic. Very nice. We got some Kale Leap art. Legendary train builder. Really great work here. Some of these look like they're just kind of made for display. So many trains.
And so much track running through that I don't even know if all of it's attached to the loop. There's just track everywhere.
It's really incredible. And then we have the Crescent Falls station here as well. Tons of vehicles out front. We're kind of getting more town sections, the modular type buildings. I love the variety of trees in the back there. It's like every style imaginable of Lego trees.
Different trees, different colors, and the whole system of telephone poles that runs throughout the whole rest of the side of this display as well.
This is once again another really unique building here. I like how it kind of bridges over the trains there. And we get into some more unique train designs. This one out front is super nice. A really wonderful level of detail on that one. I like these round ones there as well. And then we've got some Rio Grande. Oh, and then this is cool. This person kind of built up their whole section with the raised roadway. More modular style buildings.
More modular. The road is really clean. I like the black. It kind of makes the whole rest of it pop. And the way they elevated it really stands it above everything else that's going on in front of it, especially, I'm sure, when the trains are running as well.
So we'll circle back to the end of this display, kind of past all of these trees here. There's some folks having a pool party back there. And that will finish out this section. And we'll walk across the aisle to another section of military here. And we'll start right off the bat with this fantastic layout. This is based on Looks like German amphibious invasion of the Finnish home islands here.
Yes, this is a father-son duo, Eric and Gunnar Larson, and they build incredible mocks. We've seen some on the channel already of the German invasion of Finland and all of that stuff throughout the Second World War. So this year, as well as last year, he actually brings two builds that are around the same area at two different times throughout the Second World War. So he's got this massive wharf, this one, and it kind of bridges into the next one where he's got a huge winter scene.
We can check that one out now as well. We'll definitely have more in-depth videos on this later on as well. This is his lighthouse build, and I've got to say, this lighthouse, forget the fact that it's like, military build, which obviously I always enjoy. Even on its own, this lighthouse would just be an incredible build. The level of detail here is amazing.
So I've seen the inside of it, and I'm sure you guys will come back around and take a look at this, but the inside, he's got the wagon wheel pieces built on a Technic axle, and each one has a clip that goes to some studs with the holes in them, and he can kind of add and take away to really add just the the tiles moving in and then back out throughout the landscape. That's how he's got that tile effect going all the way up, and it's incredible to see the inside of.
Wonderful shape detailing there. We've got a lot more tanks here, and then we've got the German invasion of Norway, it looks like there. Really great work with the cheese slopes in the ground. Create that almost cobblestone type effect. We'll make our way around the corner here. Check out some smaller military vehicles as well as this fantastic Fury layout here by Sean Veers, who is a builder that we featured, I think, almost every year at BrickFair. We've talked with him about something. He's just brought consistently amazing builds every year.
Yeah, just about every year. So he's got, this was not the original build that he was planning on bringing this year, but he ended up throwing this together, and it looks incredible. The story that I heard was this is the first mock that he ever made, was a version of this same scene, and he's brought it back years later and just gone in elevation of quantity and quality is incredible.
And a couple more scenes here as well. Looks like kind of a desert scene coming up there. And then we've got, looks like a Peleliu Air Headquarters Assault, something you're very familiar with.
Yep, so this is one of my friends, Brandon. Not sponsored by me, although the helmets on the Marines may or may not be mine. But he had sent me some pictures that he was working on. So this has inspired a lot of the World at War games and some of the other pictures that are out there of this big kind of super iconic building on the island.
Next to that is the Siege of Vrax. This appears to be something from kind of a futuristic battle, I want to say. Not entirely sure what's going on here.
Yeah, so this is Ian Bandy, or Lazy Bricks, I believe, on Instagram. And this is actually a Warhammer 40K build. Not something seen a whole lot, and he's looking to kind of change that and flip the script and see some more of that stuff coming out. But he's got a really cool kind of World War I looking aesthetic, but it's completely like post-apocalyptic sci-fi. And it's really cool. The landscape on this one is absolutely amazing.
And this next one looks absolutely incredible as well. What can you tell us about this wonderful build?
I have no idea who brought this. No, this one's mine. So this is Kadena Airfield. This is the second build in the series for Okinawa, and we'll get a chance to talk about it. But it's the smallest and simplest that any of the builds for Okinawa are going to be. So you've got something to look forward to.
There we go. It's looking good. Here we've got the China Beach Surf Club, kind of rest and recuperation during the Vietnam War. And I know we gave a shout out to Korn earlier in the first half, so we're continuing that trend here at the Battle of Antietam with the Sunken Road. You can see the Confederate soldiers there in the Sunken Road section, the Union soldiers kind of coming over the hilltop a little bit. Very well done there. And that brings us back with these smaller little vignettes here to the end of this military section. So we can just cross over here, hit up this just kind of one table area real quick. So we've got a whole bunch of builds. First off is this row house fire. So we've got a fire scene. Then the rest of this kind of down here to the right is all John Rudy's work on Disney. So this is lots of stuff, mostly from Disneyland. So if you're a big Disney fan, you'll recognize many of the rides he has here. There's the Jungle Cruise Boathouse. He's got the micro castles, kind of all sorts of scales represented.
All sorts of scales and all sorts of iconic stuff too. I mean, he's got the monorail, he's got the old trains, he's got castles in every scale imaginable. He's even got, like you said, some of the rides, some of the characters, the good sign. Like John Rooney's like the ultimate Disney guy, and he shows it here at BrickFair.
This looks really fantastic here. We can actually run over here to this display now as well. So we have another fire scene. There's been a lot of things on fire at the show.
There have. I feel like just about as many things are on fire as there have been things with corn. There's a theme this year, and the theme is water, but we have a lot of fire and a lot of corn.
Next to that, we've got this Naboo battle. Around the corner, we've got breaking news. I love the kind of sense of action in this as the paperboy runs into the bench with his bike. That's super fun. Then down here, we've got a Lego Museum of Lego History. We recently featured this build on the channel, so you can definitely check out a much more in-depth video. Shout out to my all-time favorite theme, Western there, represented in this Lego History Museum. There's lights on in this normally, and it just makes for a really cool presentation.
Yeah, this is the first show that I've gotten to see it in person, and it is really cool to look at. You could stare at it for so long with all the different exhibits to see all the different themes and things represented.
And back to the theme of fire, we have a ton of fire engines. I think these might be from different countries or just different colors and different kind of types of fire engines. We've even got some like smaller, older ones up there as well.
All kinds of scales, all kinds of shapes. Looks like all kinds of different support vehicles as well. You've got even a helicopter, some of the battalion chief car, everything.
This is like zombie firemen up there. Really every possible iteration of fire trucks. There's even the Arctic with the penguins as well. I love that. And then we've got a little street scene and some vehicles next to that. And then we have the Pear store in San Francisco, based on another famous Apple store in the area. I like the chrome on the side here. Actually, kind of the tiles, everything are chrome.
Yeah, I think the outside of the building's like the flat silver or sterling silver, whatever it is, and then the chrome on the side. That's just it's expensive, but it's nice.
And in a real plot twist, we have the corn being harvested now in this build. So it's kind of moving along the storyline a little bit here, which is very nice. Then we have this entire fast food row, and this is all sorts of fast food companies here, especially in the U.S. This is the type of thing you see all over the place.
Yep, chains from all over the country. Most of these I have around me, but I think there's one or two maybe that I don't have near me.
That's good. That's good. As long as you've got a Chick-fil-A, though, do you really need anything else?
Probably. I mean, only on Sunday you got to find another option.
True. Right, you've got to have an option on Sunday. And as we round the corner from the fast food displays, we have this Christmas display. And this is not only a Christmas tree, but you've got the gifts underneath there, brick built as well. Then you've got the table that has the cookies and gingerbread men, candles. You even got like a dreidel there, and then I think you've got stockings and the fireplace, everything.
Yeah, and shout out to Stuart Roll, who's giving me a massage right now. Complete nonchalant on this point of the show. I'm enjoying it very much.
This is what it takes to get through the end of the tour.
Of course, of course.
This builder is very ready for Christmas to come around. We see another excellent version of some coral reefs here. And this kind of standard is something we'll see expanded on in a little bit in the tour on a much larger scale. This is Colonial Lug, and they really started this kind of really cool version where they built on, you can get an idea here of kind of the size and style of this, and you just put a whole bunch of those plates together and make one large section.
Yeah, the standard that I believe they started and we eventually adapted with was the 8x8 octagonal plates plus a 4x4 plate creates this basically grid that anybody can build on, and they're super easy to just stick together and create a huge collaborative effort.
Then we have these bookshelves. This is a super fun build. I hadn't seen this before. It's vignettes featuring bookshelves and kind of themed characters with the books that they would have. So you see like the pirate down here is really great. The king there is fantastic. And then down here you get like the ancient Roman ones. That's a really neat idea. Even like Star Wars on the bottom there.
Yeah, that was the one I was looking at. You got the Jedi Archive hallways in there as well.
That's a fun approach to that. Got a bunch of butterflies here, very colorful, looking fantastic. Heart Lake City. So speaking of color, this is just an abundance of every imaginable color.
Every color. And the waves that he's got built in here too. He's kind of transitions with the 2x2 slopes and the light trans blue, so it just gives that much more movement to the build.
We will turn around now, and we run into a wild Noah Hennings as we make our way across the aisle over here. And we'll take a look at some Marvel minifigures now. So I think these all custom? I believe so.
It looks like it.
This is a mix of custom and Lego-made ones, so I guess there's some of each.
There's probably some adaptations of the ones in their Lego as customs, probably.
I love this little Angry Birds kind of phone here. Oh, we've got the Air and Space Museum back there. That's fantastic. Represents some local DC landmarks. We've got the Phoenix. Some smaller scenes here with Star Wars. Sometimes the small scenes can be some of the funniest here at the show, but they're easy to overlook.
Right, and like there's even space where there's a lot of them. They're easy to overlook, but sometimes you don't need it to be big to really just tell that story, and they're the fun ones to look at for sure.
These are all Unikitty themed for you Unikitty fans out there from the Lego movie. Super fun. And we've got the big Unsinkable 2 here, looking like sort of a steampunk vibe a little bit. Futuristic, even a little UCS card. Then we've got some folks just chilling, enjoying themselves. The Emperor and the troops right there. And the Brick Separator Glee Club having a grand old time. These are all Brick Separator builds, at least a lot of them. I love the one with Moses separating the Red Sea. And this is a transforming Lego brick.
That is cool. We've seen some of that scale Lego brick previous in the tour, and the fact that this one transforms, I want to see it transform because I want to know where all the angles are, but that does look really cool. It's a nice rendition of the stuff we saw earlier.
And Dr. Ivan's laboratory back there as well. Some fun details. We have this, this is a Ninjago banner. I hadn't even noticed that. This is maybe some custom artwork possibly that someone had made based on the Ninjago show?
It looks like it, and it seems to kind of encompass, like, I guess each arc, like each storyline from the whole running of Ninjago. But I'm not super in depth with the Ninjago lore, so I couldn't tell you for sure.
Someone in the comments can tell us how accurate that is if you've watched all of the Ninjago show. I love the Desert Derby here with the cactus car, and then the battle on Jeddah. We've got this nice peaceful scene here. And then a corner cafe. Looking fantastic. And this is a heavenly mistake with all of them going up to the Golden Gates there. And we've got Dr. Frankfurter Stein, nominated for Best Vignette. It's all hot dogs.
And looks like the hot dog in the so-called Bacta tank, as I'll say, has a zombie face or something on it.
There's some real experimental stuff happening there. Got a nice seaside house here. And around the corner, I love the detail on these builds here. So this is nominated for Best Lighted Mock, and this is just a whole cemetery here, and the amount of detail is fantastic in the trees and the gravestones.
Yeah, the gravestones I like particularly because each of them is a different style, different shape, uses different kinds of pieces, and some really unique prints that I've never seen before either.
Then we have the Witch's Cottage, which has equally impressive level of detail, potions and skeletons everywhere. Then these little habitats that are seasonal and just feature different minifigures. So you got kind of summer, fall, and spring and winter here, and using those minifigures to represent those different seasons. So that's a really fun idea there. Then we've got the riverbed campsite next to that. The forest stories with the characters reading the book there. Very cute little scene. A wonderful barbecue. But look at the different gems down here.
Yeah, all kinds of different gems. And then right behind that, you've got a really nice rendition landscape of one of the old Lord of the Rings sets from way back when. That torso is my best friend and also my worst nightmare.
Very useful for the military builders. You've got some dogs in here. And then Kermit. This ride I was looking at earlier, I don't think it's based on any real ride, but maybe it is. Oh, actually, I think it is because it says it's Farmington, Utah. So I was wrong. It is based on a real ride in Utah, and so it's kind of a haunted roller coaster.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool, and the purple track is what really draws my eye on this one.
It fits with the monster theme very nicely. Got the Tropical Cafe and the Rose Apothecary. I think these are based on a TV show, if I'm not mistaken. And then we've got Golden Deer, so it's just this one brick-built deer here in the middle of this lush kind of jungle.
Yeah, I really like the landscape techniques on this one. This is Kevin Dark, who's also a part of Charm City Lug. And I believe this is one of his first landscape-focused builds. And it turned out great. I love the olive green contrast to the dark green with the Transclear in the river.
Kevin, known for his moving builds typically. He's built one or two worthwhile things over the years, but kind of going in a different direction there. That's very nice. Then we've got Mandalorian Season 3 finale. Got a big spaceship coming through as all the Mandos try to get out of the way.
Yeah, this is from, I guess, so when they retake Mandalore, the part of the Imperial fleet crashing down, and all the, like you said, all the Mandalorians trying to get out of the way.
And the scariest the Muppets have ever looked with their mechs here. Those swords are not looking good. We've got a cannon up here as well. Very cool. And in the continuing the Paperboy scenes, we've got the mech suit. So first we got him flying off the bike. I think this is the continuation where he upgrades.
I think we keep running into similar like themes all over the conventions hall, because last night in the first part we found a bunch of mechs for other characters, Star Wars and superheroes. So there seems to be a much further, deeper theme than just water this year.
We'll unravel it at some point. Then you've got a little Indiana Jones here, some Stitch. This is a little Jar Jar, I think, art there on the wall. This is the Ice Cream Jedi Starfighter. Fantastic ice cream themed Star Wars spaceship.
That does look really, really cool. And the way they use all the rounded tiles to make the wings is nice.
This was built, I believe, by the one and only Epic Bricks. Check him out on the TikToks if you're over there. This Inkling of Life is really wonderful. So it's kind of like a book with the black ink laid out there, creating this character. Nominated for Best Sculpture. The posing on this guy back here is also fantastic. That looks great.
Yeah, lots of really good movement in these couple of models right here.
We've got some dinosaurs in Cannon Cove, so kind of updating the old Imperial sets with much more detail. Kind of much more parts intensive as well, but adds a lot of realism.
For sure, and mixing the white with the trans clear to kind of create that foamy effect on the sand and in the waves is really nice as well.
Another kind of pirate and Imperial Fortress. And we've got Barbie's Malibu Dream. The Barbie movie has been taking over the world, so this has lights, tons of Barbies inside it. I like the way the builder approached this.
Yeah, and the trans pink and the other translucent colors that they've used to really accent the very bright and vibrant pink. With all the tiles, though, it's super sleek. It looks really nice.
In the back, we have WandaVision there through the decades, and then up front is the Enchanted Forest, full of fantastic foliage and trees, and then even the roof color there on the cottage with the lights inside are fantastic.
Yeah, lots the lighting effects, and then all the colors, like you said. You've got the purple in the trees, the teal, and even, I guess, the light aqua or whatever it is for the roof are great colors. Great.
Then we have an entire sushi dinner, and this looks fantastic with Super Mario and Yoshi and the classic Game Boy behind there. And some smaller vignettes. Shout out to Ant Bandit here. Always fantastic. I love this flying. This is the Duchess Crow here. The cannons on the sides with the rounded hull of the ship looks amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to see the interior of this. It seems to be kind of a historical but also steampunk kind of ship, or airship, I guess.
Is that a 3D printed crystal back there on the table?
That's what it looks like.
We have a nice painting there as well. And then the turquoise Tudor house. Little secret garden build. Disney. And I think that brings us back to these minifigures that we started with here. So we will keep making our way around. Let's see. We did that all? Okay. So we'll head this direction then. Perfect. We'll go across to the right here. And this is a lot of the automaton stuff, so it's not running right now. We've posted a lot of this stuff in videos in the past, so definitely check that out. Both YouTube and our social media. This guy is still very much running right here.
I think that's John editing all the videos.
Absolutely. Red shirt, I mean, couldn't be more accurate. No, that's fantastic. Yeah, I guess still a few more of them going, but these are always incredible to see this stuff come out to the show. And like I said, you can find a lot of this on YouTube and on our various Instagram and TikTok as well. Check all of that out. Then we get into the sort of battle bots type Lego experience here. It says on the board, do you want to read that out for us?
Our robots destroy mocks free of charge. Let us know if your project has been malfunctioning all day. I think that's a secret nod to the GBC loop this year.
Oh, yes. There we go. And then we get some more Technic and kind of motorized functions here. You get the big sports cars, the cherry picker, Here's this is like the old Mario set, but with like an actual Mario game in there. It says a working NES.
Yeah, and it looks like the controller that it's actually functional. So I'm guessing during the public hours, the public and kids can come up and actually play through some of those levels, which is really nice.
You mentioned Kevin Dark earlier. This is a card shuffler that he built. It says 60% of the time it works every time. So I haven't seen this running, but this looks pretty interesting.
I haven't either, but 60% is more than 50%. So it's got a high average of victory.
This is also built by Kevin. This is the automatic tower of Hanoi. So it's stacking these blocks, and I think the goal is to stack them, I think, smallest to biggest, I believe, is the goal.
That's what it looks like. So seeing that it's moving that one, and if it goes back to the middle, and that would be my guess.
And then a few more Technic builds around the edge here. Here you can see to our left the chaos left from the bridge building competition. So this is where Dan Steinier works with the public all day. You hear loud explosions when people's bridges get destroyed.
Yeah, it's great. He brings so much personality to this. We listen to him all day long, and he's so enthusiastic when he's putting the weight on it, and when it crashes, everyone in the hall looks up because something's fallen over, but it's really just bridges collapsing, and I'm surprised some of this brick is still standing.
And we will make our way now to this large section here. And we start with a bit of a train and town layout. And actually, this building here on the end has some actual interiors in there. I think I see the Ghostbusters, some Friends characters. So that's really cool. I always love a good interior. The architecture on this building here is really nice, sort of an Art Deco vibe there. The fire station, but nothing on fire so far, so that's a good sign.
Not yet. We haven't gotten to that point yet. And then you've got the car factory behind it with a huge plethora of what look to be custom little cars to scale to this for the rest of this city that make up that huge showroom. That's really cool in the back. I believe it's lighted, but I'm not sure.
I think you might be right there as well. I like the park, and then this really nice section here with all of the waterfall and kind of just raised section there is very nice. Here we've got the original El Dorado Fortress, which we had the remake of recently, and then the Brig Liberty. This is a fictional American brig around the year 1800. Look, a lot of detail there.
A lot of detail and a lot of string work where like all of the pulleys for the sails, everything is very nicely taut, and it looks like outside of the Lego detail of it, the Lego aspect, it looks really, really cool.
And another smaller ship and kind of a port next to that. Then we've got a light-up stoplight here. Very unique build, not something you see very often with Lego.
No, but the minifigures on this road are definitely going to see what color that light is for sure.
And I'm not familiar with the book in the back, but that whale in the bathtub is fantastic there. You can see a little rubber ducky with it as well. That looks great. Then we've got a little bit of a parade happening here. Shout out to RVA Lug Parade Train. And then the larger buildings in the background. It looks like we've got the big robot stomping through the streets of the city. And these guys up here look like they're up to no good on top of the buildings. There's a lot of action here.
Lots of action. You got Batman down on the street level as well. But that building that we were just looking at is very, very heavily detailed around even just the base. It's built up on kind of what seems to be like a swampy area. Very cyberpunkish, but I like it.
It's very true. And this church also has a tremendous amount of detail. Stained glass window. That all looks fantastic. We got the big Bowser over here. And looks like we've got Legoland. This appears to be a theater there. You can see movie posters in the windows. Some more modular buildings. Shout out to Toys R Us, RIP. And look at this large rainbow brick.
Large rainbow brick. We just passed some gray ones. We've had some more of the midi scale ones that we've seen even just in the 10 feet of walking through this display. And more corn.
Wonderful. Love to see it. Wizard of Oz there. A whole bunch of trains here as well. Richmond Lego Users Group representing some nice Maersk blue. Carrying some construction equipment back there. So we jump across here. This is... You've got a Altman Genesis lighting control console, so it looks like a lot of little fun buttons to slide up and down on that one.
Yeah, that does look really cool. It's got the screen. It looks to be basically based on the image it's got next to it, and the fact that they have it all articulated means the switches move, which even just a little bit of movement in a build as clean as that looks really good.
This is an intense fencing competition here where we have two very different styles of fencing taking place. It says which fencing master will be victorious, so we'll watch that with bated breath. Then we've got the dueling banjos in the back, looking good. Up here on this raised section, we have Hydra has arrived and a Phoenix there, so even some custom packaging and things. Then down here, maybe some Star Trek, it looks like.
Something like that. Yeah, bit of Star Trek, a lot of Red Dwarf, and a smattering of Alien, a multi-source sci-fi extravaganza.
You got to appeal to all the fan bases. Fantastic. This is the theater, it looks like here as well. We've got a little Elvis build going on. Fantastic. And then some stage here. The Man of La Mancha. Sweeney Todd. Oh, a little Wicked scene down in there. I love that. This is a whole bunch of stage scenes here. Then Hamilton, looking fantastic. Les Mis and the Nutcracker. Phantom of the Opera and Little Shop of Horrors. Really fantastic here. And this is the theater itself here, where I think that you can switch those scenes that we just saw in and out.
Yeah, it appears so. I think this is a whole kind of group collaborative where they've got all these different scenes that this building won. So they can be all swapped. So I guess there's some way that this is visible where you can see what's on the inside, and they can swap them out throughout the day.
That's fantastic work. Getting back to the Star Wars, as always, you're never too far away from Star Wars at BrickFair.
Not at BrickFair. There's a little bit of Star Wars just about everywhere.
Got some Kashyyyk in there, and then this is appears to be some kind of maybe state capitol building or something along those lines. Some tanks. Oh, we got some epic battles here. Mothra, some large creatures.
Some really cool large creatures, really nice colors. You've got the pearl golds, you've got some trans orange mixed with black, and then next to those you've got some really nice neon colors that create some big, cool, posable mecha-looking figures.
Yeah, those things look fantastic there. And then we come to a couple of large layouts. This is a Black Falcon battle, and it's a castle. Really cool kind of statues in the middle there, and then even these ships on the sides. But it's sort of combining different styles because it also has the cannons there as well. So it's kind of a lot happening here.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of details packed into it. He's got I like the pink trees that he has in here. It really breaks up the normal gray and the brown, as we've talked about a couple times. But those statues you mentioned are nice. The shaping of all of his towers are also really nice.
And his army, look at this epic army just sitting here ready to go out to battle as well. So much happening. Looks great. And just across from that is another massive battle here. This is Mordor, Lord of the Rings, and got a little Groot action as well.
Yeah, so my guess is this is like the scene from the beginning of the Lord of the Rings trilogy where they were fighting Sauron, who I guess is the big fig right here in the middle. But you've got the massive elven army, you've got the orc army behind the big tower.
There you go. Yes, exactly. And the lava running through there. That looks great. Captain Ahab's death here. And then the Wayne Enterprises tower, which also has kind of full interiors inside there, and that looks great. Got a little NASCAR action happening here. And let's see, this is Matilda scene. Then a motel back there, the Joker's train, the state capitol of Virginia. Nice Western layout here. Always love to see some nice Western builds. It's not going to end so well for this guy. Townspeople have all come out for a nice show there. Very non-Western, we have this mega mobile crane that's all yellow. What other vehicles catch your eye here?
I like the classic pickup truck in the dark red. And then you've got some other really cool vehicles, really sleek designs, and again, really cool colors. You've got the some kind of hatchback wagon buggy beetle thing back there with some chrome and some of the light blue. Looks really nice as well.
Yeah, monochrome red rocket here. Oh, I like this kind of singer almost type figure. Got a large spaceship going through there. A little octopus's garden here. And then this book here with appears to be a bunch of tentacles. That's not looking so good. How about these towers with the printed bricks in the back?
Yeah, it's Multiverse Castle. It was built using pieces that have stickers or printing from as many LEGO themes as possible. How many can you recognize?
Very, very nice.
So I recognize Indiana Jones. I think the Heart Lake one has got to be Friends. Those are the two that really pop out to me.
There's the Coliseum in the background there of the car that I'm forgetting the name of at the moment.
And then the troll like banner flag underneath Heart Lake from like the old castle stuff as well.
I'm sure if we spend some time, we might be able to pick out one or two more. But until then, we'll take a look at this nice beach scene here. And then up front is a whitewater kayaking scene going through the rapids. I like this Niagara Falls, so it's got kind of a little bit of like a forced perspective here, where you got the people up top and the falls kind of going down, and then also the ships there, the bottom that you can take and get near to the falls, get nice and wet. Sea of Life with this big jellyfish. So colorful there, even with just all of the creatures on the bottom.
Yeah, that looks absolutely beautiful. And the plates that they've used to kind of create some bigger scale sea floor life forms, organisms, those kinds of things is just a nice touch to that base. The very like Lego study, but very clean as well.
And then we've got a little micro Virginia map, and then here comes the sun, and it looks like the penguins and animals are starting to float away on the ice. A little pirate ship underwater. The aliens back there, looking good. Looks like there's some maybe black lights that normally shine on that. And then here we have underwater scene, looking fantastic. This one actually won an award at BrickFair Fredericksburg, which was earlier this year. One of the newer BrickFair shows. Large train tunnel, just a lot of green here.
Lots of green and very nice shaping of the mountain that really leads into the tunnel very nicely.
Sometimes people leave very loud music on for their concert scenes. So that's what's happening over there that John is showing right now. Extremely loud and probably copyrighted music.
Probably. It's been a weird mix of stuff all week. Every time I walk past, it's some different genre.
We'll make our way past that now, and we'll move across to the other side here, where we see some more kind of modular type buildings, and then classic space wall. I really love the way the builder did this, and all those little like trans-clear pieces for the stars.
Yeah, it looks really nice because when the lights hit it from the back and you look into it, it really like lights it up.
And then this is the kind of moon base that we saw some elements of this earlier, but you see some more of it going on here. And there's all sorts of craziness happening on the moon base modules, a lot of action here. But ships flying around, Benny's spaceport. Speaking of Benny, here's a 3D printed figure, which you've seen a lot more 3D printed figures this year.
Yeah, and even big figures too. I believe there's a whole vendor here this year that has stuff like this, just representing all kinds of characters from Lego.
And then this scene is fantastic. I hadn't seen this earlier. This is a temple from winter 1769. Looks wonderful. The kind of contrast of the red and gold against that white background, and then the frozen river.
Yeah, and the landscaping here is absolutely phenomenal. I had not seen this either. I love this.
Here we have some nice, beautiful looking swans, but don't let them fool you. They are evil creatures. Then we have the fish and starburst with the changing lights. Look fantastic. I think we've seen these in past years, but the wipeout scene is great.
The wipeout big balls are always a classic. I love seeing at these shows for sure.
Around the corner, we get to a couple mosaic type scenes here. So this is a selfie reflection, inner vision that's called, and then joy overnight. And then here we have this Count Caleb James right here. So, regal looking child.
Yeah, very like early colonial looking torso, and then a very, very young person face.
And this big Batwing Batcave with the huge Batwing kind of set against the yellow and black of the Batcave. Looks great. And you see all of Batman's tools kind of scattered around.
Yeah, he's got everything he needs to go fight all the crime in Gotham City, hiding right here in this build.
And then we'll finish out with some micro trains and cars, even a little Lego house model there. Looking good as well. Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Shout out to Brick Nerd and the Nerdly up top there as well. That finishes out this section, and we'll make our way over to some Bionicle now. Now, BrickFair for many years has been famous for Bionicle and military. I think are the two things that people kind of most associate with the show. So we are going to see a number of sections of Bionicle, and Bionicle builders really kind of capture all sorts of different styles and elements that are used here. Like this kind of serpent here using those underwater flippers looks fantastic.
Yeah, it really does. And Bionicle, I think over the years has kind of taken a turn from just the classic Bionicle pieces, and it's turned into trying to utilize system more and more to see just the edge of what they can actually create.
I love this fish in the back here as well, especially with the lights on top. That really adds a wonderful element there. These couple of figures up top here look really nice. Get the skull. You can see some builders still working on some Bionicle masks here. A little paint customization zone. Nicely laid out here. I like this figure kind of pointing up in the air next to, we got some Galador inspiration.
Yeah, and I like this one here in the corner. It's definitely looks to be a lot more system brick than the Technic stuff that we're used to with the Bionicle, and it looks really, really clean.
Oh, this creature, the posing on this looks fantastic. Oh, and then the bird hanging upside down looks really good. Spinal harvester there. Let's get some crab type creatures all in here. This is kind of a bit of a theme here with the crabs. I'm not sure what's happening here. This is a giant shrimp who's evil and learned to fry more than just rice. Okay, you know, really flipping the script a little bit there. It's going in a different direction. I like that. Up top here, this guy, I love that, especially the use of the chains. Looks fantastic. Very nice here. This guy just chilling on the beach.
It's like this black elk up top is also really, really nice. The posing of that and the use of some of the more foliage pieces that they got on the ground and the antlers just add that much more little detail. Is
Patrick Biggs did that, and the one with the bird next to it there, and both of those are just fantastic. I like this one with the little micro city, so it kind of creates almost a scale for the creature there. Duplo, Shock the monkey. You always got to get some Duplo inside there. Little squid up there. Oh yeah, right here. Look, check out Nick Bluetooth. His final form. Glinching gone too far.
Yep, Galador comes out in mad force at BrickFair, Virginia.
This build here looks fantastic. Both of these by Nathan Don, I think it is there, look great. These are also, I think, a lot of his work here, just really fantastic stuff. Little Eggman, Sonic inspired there. And the trees here on the corner look great as well. Ooh, I like the use of the gold on the base under this creature. Just makes it look kind of makes it look that much more intimidating. Deathmonger. Oh, look the way they use those like hot air balloon pieces there for that character.
Yeah, it almost adds like a poncho or cape kind of flowing, which is really cool because it's not one of those. It's not a fabric piece or anything. They're using system to create that movement.
And that will finish this section out for us here. So we will make our way across to another square of Bionicle builds. This one right off the bat, Mega Man. I like how they even made the face and everything on that. Looks great. And then here we have some non-Lego inside there.
But it's Jar Jar Binks, so it's okay.
Okay, we'll allow it. It's okay. This builder took kind of a different direction with their stands to kind of improve the presentation a little bit, kind of making more like robot type builds. That looks great. And then jumping across, we've got ones with a lot of tentacles in the back there, a lot of lights on these. This looks really nice. Oh, I like this lineup here with kind of stands. It kind of creates a nice visual aesthetic.
Yeah, and each one posed a little bit differently. They all appear to be based on different characters for what I'm assuming is Bionicle, but they've all got kind of different aesthetics, color aesthetics to them too.
And you got a little Reaper there. Got quite the guns and ammo on these guys. Hero Factory is ready for battle. Big sabers and spears. So we round the corner now. I like Shiver Me Timbers here. Very nice. And tons of fantastic figures here. The posability of some of these is really great. Like this one, this orange one here looks fantastic. Just really good work. So we come around the corner. Someone has set themselves up a nice chair here to experience BrickFair in style.
Yeah, they're ready to relax for the weekend for sure. They're going to have about as much posability in this chair as their models do.
Go. Sounds good. And that will finish out this this square and this section for us. So I think we'll just move right across here to the other side. Continue with our Technic kind of construction style builds. So we go around the corner. I like this one here has this added kind of mask there on the table. I see a lot of wires running through here, so I think you might have a lot of lights incorporated as well, which with World of Lights is something that a lot more people have been doing. These are just absolutely gorgeous builds here. The Sun and Star Peacocks, just a variety of peacock type builds.
Yeah, these look great. I had no idea the single chain links came in the Pearl Gold, but the use of them there to, I would guess that moves maybe, to hold those wings up, and then from the neck up to the head where the eyes are is absolutely beautiful.
And then we have a Mantis here that also looks fantastic. Got some Link Hero of Time Zelda themed builds. And then this is using Bionicle pieces to create like a large construction tree.
Yeah, the Motoron of Lee Caro live in the treetop communities. So it's like the Ewok villages of Bionicle.
Then some crystal swords here. And the shade there. Very nice. Really nice kind of busts there as well. We've got all sorts of like animals using the large Big Fig Star Wars heads.
Oh, and he's got some movement in there. He spins the heads and the rotors. That's only a little bit terrifying.
Great work. Thank you. Some Bionicle builds that are very nicely lit up here with Bionologue in the back. So, and a staple of BrickFair.
Yeah, and all of these little villages up front are using the LEGO Dimensions game bases to light them from underneath, which is a cool thing. I believe the first time I had ever seen that was the new Hashima build, and I'm glad it's getting used somewhere else.
The complete Slicer collection, which is not something that I knew anyone actually tried to collect, but apparently someone has.
There's always someone within the LEGO community.
Little Tahoe vignette. Then we've got these lenticular mosaics with the cheese slopes. I think these have been here for a number of years now, and kind of different views of different Bionicles as you walk by. Here's a fun tornado build, a little artificial heart with some lights in it. We got some nice artwork on display with some of these builds. Oh, I love this guy looking real ruthless with his pet there. And some more kind of build and artwork here. And this two-headed creature crushing someone's car. That's not ending very well at all for them. Nice kind of cat face next to that. Oh, the Spirit of the Falls in that creature looks fantastic.
They do, and the use of some of the, I guess, the wing pieces to create the whiskers and the sides of the face is a really nice technique.
We have Camera Head Man, I guess. I think that's what that is. I'm not sure if this is based on anything particular.
Camera clops, maybe? I'm not sure. Using some non-LEGO clothing, or even like, I don't know if LEGO ever made dolls, but maybe that was something from that. I'm not sure.
This guy's looking real menacing with all his tires up top there on the arms, on the shoulders. Got locked and loaded in there. Looking fantastic. Kind of a samurai next to that. Here we've got the minifig and the larger fig there, kind of based on that. Oh, I like this guy with the wings up here. That looks really nice. Seen a lot of these with like the artwork next to it, which is always interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it brings in another aspect of just the personalities of some of the builders. They have kind of the 3D passion, but the 2D passion as well.
And this guy's riding his mount there. We've got a dice tower. Well, I like this warrior here. Very unique, kind of unique color scheme and posing. And Auric Guild Stash, looking good. Here, another nice flying creature. Some Ninjago wings maybe there. Here's an Ent. Look at that. Uses the mouse piece as the nose.
Yeah, I do really like that one. It's still using the Technic, but it's using it in a way that it kind of forms that natural tree trunk looking aesthetic.
Then we have Vladik Reforged. So this is from the older Knights Kingdom, I believe it was, castle theme from kind of the earlier 2000s. So kind of reimagining that a bit. And then finish out with this walkable city there that's on treads, which is a really neat little build. And that will finish this section for us. We will head over this direction. And we can go ahead and hit up this section right here. So we make our way around. So we've got, this is Wombat Combat Pictures, it says. So this appears to all be builds by them. And you see a variety of creatures. This purple and gold kind of, it reminds me of Thanos for some reason.
Yeah, no, I get that 100%. There's lots of really cool parts usage in here. You've got some of the Star Wars planets. You've got a cool vinyl piece being used up top there. Really cool weapons and just the different things that each of the characters is holding.
These characters all feel very kind of like, well thought out and fantastic. It looks great. Very, very nice. I think there's some power functions here as well. There we go. Thank you so much. So you can get some extra movement in here as well. Looking good. Great work. And we've got a Mosaic here now around the corner. Some more. You got the Flash running there. This guy's all posed around the kind of central core back there. Massive creature here with a big red eye. And a whole bunch of smaller Bionicles in here. Oh, these are very interesting down here. These are kind of a variety of, like, I guess, I don't know if you'd call these spaceships, vehicles that the Bionicles can ride on.
Yeah, they look like kind of like speeder type
Yes.
vehicles, which is cool because like you see a lot of the actual figures, but then they've gone even that much further and built something for the figures to be able to pose on, not just be on the table by themselves or be on a riser, which are beautiful to look at. But this adds that extra kind of layer of detail that shows the true scale of all their characters.
Got some teal in there, looking very good. I like the bases here that kind of create the scenes for these characters. That looks fantastic as well. This one's nominated for Best Bionicle Humanoid. Oh, that one up top there has a whole lot going on. Lights, all sorts of colors of blades, the white wings.
Yeah, the white wings is definitely what drew my eye first, just kind of the overall span of the character with all the color coming off of it.
Then we've got the Gun Saint here. A whole lot of weapons represented. I think some more Galador throwback in here. Looking fantastic as always. Getting into more of like a micro scale almost now. Using some of those much smaller parts to capture some of those details. Posability. I like the Slicer 7 here with the big blades. Get some blue and yellow. Kind of color coordinated. Got the John Deere looking robot thing.
Yeah, I really like that one. And when we're looking at a lot of these, one of the things when you look at the other themes, every theme kind of has that color scheme that you, in the back of your mind, you put to it, whereas Bionicle can really use any part in any color and make something out of it, which is really cool to see all just the vast amount of parts usage that you get when you come to these shows.
That's some really creative builders here. I like the construction sort of vibe with the shovel on the front of that one. Here we get the real small scale Bionicles. And we got the big mask in the back there. Oh, I like this one with all of the foliage and the trees on it in the back. That looks great. We'll finish out with this big guy on the left side here. Big old spear looking fantastic. So that looks very nice. We'll go ahead and make our way back this direction then. And we've got a Harry Potter layout here. So I believe this whole U section is all by the same group of people, all Harry Potter.
Yeah, and it seems to have a interactive map that I guess you can scan with your phone and see where different things are, which is a really cool idea. It lets you really kind of flow with what you're looking at as you walk across the build.
So for all the Harry Potter fans watching, you can put your favorite scene in the comments. You see, I think this has created a lot of the storyline here and a lot of the different buildings and scenes and the forest and Quidditch and everything here. You can get into the snowy areas as well. So this is a whole very nice, fantastic looking layout here. Great work there. Head to this corner, kind of going against the wall now, and we've got this is the haunted watermill. Oh boy, we got some ghosts in there. A little naval insignia. Oh, these mechs here at that small scale are looking fantastic.
Yeah, the mechs using all those little pieces at that scale, it's even the ones up front that have the baby figures as the pilots in the cockpits are hard to pull off, especially for posability and even to stand on their own, but they look fantastic.
We've got a big steampunk wheel rolling along, and then a Sea People Seatron monorail set. If I remember correctly, this was one of those that was like a canceled Lego theme. Yes, it says it was officially unreleased.
Unreleased, and I have no recollection of that because I was not even born yet. So, but that's really cool to see.
Here's a giant octopus, it looks like, and some kind of other creature swimming along here underwater. And we've got a big kind of sunset mosaic. Nice little oasis there and a spaceship. Then some Daily Bugle action, some Marvel action. And here we come to another Kevin Dark build. I think he had this at Brickworld Chicago because I cast my vote there as well. Have you cast your vote for the favorite Viking shield?
I have casted my vote. I casted my vote on the chicken shield all the way on the left side.
Yes.
We were over here the other night. I had seen this at Brickworld and we walked over and saw it over here yesterday, and there were like 15 of us that all started throwing plates in different ones. But
Great minds think alike. That was the one I voted for at Brickworld as well. So fantastic choice there. Then we've got this rowing team next door, some Minecraft. Don't see Minecraft real often. Occasionally you'll run across a larger Lego Minecraft layout, but for the popularity of the game, it's not that common.
yeah, it's not, and I like this one specifically because they've taken away from how Lego did their line with all of the jumpers and the open studs, and they've completely tiled it off, which makes it just look that much more Minecraft. It's all smooth and kind of pixelated.
Just heading down the water there. Oh, this is interesting. This is the Pyramid of Peril. With my favorite haunted houses from past years of Halloween Horror Nights from Universal Orlando. Wow, there is a lot packed into each of those scenes.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever been, but obviously they're a huge fan of it, and they've been 10 times, 11 times. So, but they look really, really cool. They've got all kinds of different scenes going on in there.
Next to that, we've got the Beetlejuice, the musical stage, with some super bright colors, and then the checkered black and white there. Great contrast. There's a nice castle as well, kind of floating above the ground. And then this massive ship, which we've shown smaller versions of in the past, and the builder has continued to bring this kind of year after year and expand on this. And this one is bigger and better than ever, looking fantastic. He's got some smaller sections here, and then he also has a ironclad here as well.
Yeah, and I believe this is a different version from what he's had. I know he's had I believe it's the HMS Victory in past years, and he's got the HMS Warrior this year, which is a 2-cylinder steamship is what I believe I read. So he's got a version of the engine kind of built on a bigger scale to represent there. And then the USS Ironclad, which is also really cool to see. It's not something you see much either.
Looking fantastic. So we will go ahead and hit up this section in the middle then. We'll start with the Creole house here. This is from Stranger Things, Season 3, it looks like. I like the blue coloring on that. And then some interior scenes from Stranger Things as well. And then some scenes from the Wednesday TV show. And we get some custom minifigures, Lord of the Rings. A Monster Fighters poster, which short-lived theme, but a lot of people like that.
Short-lived, and it looks like they've kind of updated and customized some of the figures from that iconic line that, even though it was short-lived, it was fairly popular.
A wizard fight in the swamp, and they're both using kind of their magical powers to create weapons here. And then it says, how many frogs can you find? So some nice frogs hidden throughout.
I've only found 3.
Courage the Cowardly Dog. And then we've got Cthulhu here. Some great kind of character building. Whole bunch more minifigures. Mixture of kind of official and custom stuff there. Got a little Zelda build. Looking fantastic. Some Spider-Man stuff in the background there as well. Destiny 2 up there. It's like, I think all of this is Destiny 2, actually. I think so.
I know, yeah, it looks like it. I'm a huge Destiny 2 player. These are all really, really cool to look at. The enemies in this game, I've tried building a few myself, are really difficult to capture with Lego pieces, and especially one on the top left with the Vex enemies is actually really, really well done. I love those figures. I'd probably stand over here for an hour just looking at this stuff.
Shout out to Aaron Bergdorf here, capturing all of these Destiny 2 scenes. Looks fantastic. Some more custom minifigures. This is a Halo battle here. So Halo is one of those things that you don't see real often. It seems like every couple years or so, someone will bring just a really detailed, fantastic layout like this. But since it is a mega property, Lego fans tend to stay away for the most part.
Yeah, Halo seems to kind of peter in and out of popularity, but I know Peyton at Brickfair has started making a lot of Halo-themed accessories for Lego minifigures, and I think we're going to start seeing some more Halo stuff coming in the next couple of years. But the way that he's built these octagonal kind of structures into this rock work is absolutely amazing. It looks fantastic. And it got nominated for Best Landscape, which is definitely worthy.
One of the things that I love here is the way the rock work hangs out over there. And I mean, that's not easy to do because you've got to be able to support all that internally.
Right, and it doesn't even look like it's all attached, right? It's not all attached to studs. The way the cantilever's out, he's got all kinds of angles playing into that.
Next to that is another Minecraft village scene here, and then a bat cave there as well. Then we move around to some more Harry Potter, and this is a variety of Harry Potter builds, both mosaic, kind of signage and arts. You got the books there themselves, then vehicles and streets, chess sets, so it's like every kind of imaginable iteration of Harry Potter.
Yeah, and it looks like they've even expanded on some of the sets and adding some scenes that the characters, even the big figs, as well as with the additional buildings, to really just add some extra depth to the display.
Continuing the Harry Potter around here, we have the kind of like Hogwarts here as well. And then we have the big owl and the books and everything. Again, kind of a twist on the sets. Then we move into something a little different with Jurassic Park here. And it looks like there's a train track and there's actually some movement in this one.
Yeah, and I think, I guess it's probably similar to the ones we saw over in one of the lug areas or one of the other mixed areas that the trucks for the area run around the whole outcropping when the public's in here. It just adds some really cool movement. You get, I guess, the tour buses from the movies or the tour trucks, so the figs get to go and explore the whole realm that they've set up here.
And these are some really nice custom figures here. You can see some really high-level customization here in some of these cases, and that's not an easy thing to do. It's a very painstaking process to get those to look right.
Yeah, a lot of these figures, especially some of the more detailed ones, take a lot of time. I know Michael from MGF used to do all this stuff, and there's a kind of a new generation of customizers that are coming up, especially in pop culture, and some of the work they put into these is absolutely amazing, doing their own sculpting, painting, everything.
Jumping across here, we've got some more character builds. This is Pepperoni Pizza. We've got Mecha Sonic, and of course everyone's favorite Grimace, who is ripping the head off of something there. That is very intense.
He had one too many Grimace shakes at McDonald's this weekend.
Some more wonderful custom minifigs. So many different ones you could point out there. We've got, I believe this Animal Crossing figure here, looking very nice. The Pac-Man arcade cabinet, so expanding on the Lego set for kind of the full large cabinet build. Rock and roll concert, thankfully not playing extremely loud copyrighted music this time around. Next to that, we've got some album artwork of the upcoming album Yard by the Chicago-based band Slow Pulp, so shout out to them. I think that finishes this part out for us. Move across here to the wall section. And what do we have here? This is some kind of a video game map, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like some kind of mobile game that they've recreated based on a screenshot that they've taken from the game and recreated the map.
Then we've got Indiana Jones, Lost City of Petra here. Kind of a Beetlejuice scene. Princess Bride, fantastic. Inigo Montoya there. We have Cow. Little scene here. And then I love this in the back. This is Shelob's lair. So from Lord of the Rings, using those like big figures there, which is a very unique kind of scale of building.
Yeah, it's not a scale that I think you see much of, especially like in pop culture for depicting scenes like that. But it's captured really nicely. I like the use of the webs where they've got Frodo, and obviously you got Samwise on the left and the big spider that he's fighting.
Alien action. And then we get to another Marvel battle. We've had a lot of large-scale sort of Marvel battles taking over cities here at the show.
I feel like every city there's something taking over some building or whatever, and the superheroes are coming to save the day.
Can anyone just live in peace anymore? Is that too much to ask? I mean, really, that's all we want at the end of the day as Lego City citizens. Here we've got a base. This is the Power Rangers base right there. And then this is the All Valley Karate Tournament here. And a Karate Kid inspired build. Oh, we don't see a lot of SpongeBob layouts like this with Lego.
You don't, and we're going to see some other SpongeBob stuff coming up here soon, but this is a nice one. They've used the base plates as the backdrop and kind of created those really nostalgic flowers on the wall to prop it up and give it a backdrop.
Wizard of Oz builds here, takes you through a bunch of different scenes from the movie. Looking fantastic. It looks like we got some maybe like customization done on some of those figures. That looks really nice. Yeah, very cool. Some Star Trek, and got some Borg. I saw this earlier. I thought this was pretty funny. This is the long ship in a bottle right here that expand the set a little bit.
A little bit, and the Viking ship in there, they've used some of the printed 2x2 tiles to represent the old-fashioned shields, which is a really nice detail. We got some Star Wars, some wood oak in there.
Missed opportunity to have a pepperoni pizza on the side of the ship there.
Maybe on the other side.
Then this is a Scooby-Doo themed build called Those Meddling Kids. And what I love with this is they took something, just the simple idea of kind of the mystery machine, but then added such an incredible level of detail that really elevates the whole scene from just a basic Scooby-Doo build.
It really does, and the dark colors really make the mystery machine and kind of the center of the mock pop. And it looks like they've got details kind of all over the place depicting, scenes from different episodes and the different random so-called enemies or antagonists, I guess you could say, of the show.
This next one is from Welcome to Sunnydale, and then got possibly, I think this is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Here we have just some older classic sets: City, Classic Space, Dacta. Very nice. Got Betrayal at House on the Hill. And then I like Thor challenges the Midgard serpent in the back there with the Comic-Con themed packaging is looking great.
That is a really cool one. Again, that Viking ship's very similar aesthetic to what we just saw in the bottle, right next to another Marvel Battleified building.
Tons of fish up front here. And then the Muppets show and the Muppet show Bunsen and Beaker Lab as well. So a whole bunch of different Muppet show scenes. Fans can recognize a lot of these here. The Ghostbusters. This next build is fantastic. Now, it doesn't look nearly as impressive right now because the lights and the movement are all off, but we'll have a more in-depth video on this. This Bowser's Castle is incredible. You can even have some public interaction with the coins there up front as well. There's so many cool elements here.
Yeah, I mean, just it by itself is a beautiful build, and I would love to come back over here tomorrow and just see how all of this actually functions.
Watch Beyond the Brick.
I mean, yeah, that's the only answer.
This is the Haunted Mansion here, and it looks like there's maybe some movement and lights that happen inside there as well. Car Wars here, so it's a car-based spin. I like that. Some big character builds here. And then we have the underwater scene is looking fantastic as well. Some Looney Tunes here. So you see a lot of great characters all along here. And then what do we have in the back there? That's Stella's boat from the game Spiritfarer, I think it's called. I haven't heard of that, but it's a really unique style.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's kind of like a 2D almost like height versus backdrop, which it looks really cool. Like none of them seem to be full buildings, but from the front they give the aesthetic as if they are.
Another nice Minecraft layout there, kind of like you were saying earlier, where it kind of covers up the studs for a much smoother effect. It looks great. Then we have some micro scenes and then the blob here. And it's taking over all of the different builds there. A little shop of horrors scene. And Adam's family back there. All of this is from How to Train Your Dragon, so all the movies there. Kind of different scenes using those raised base plates. See some more Harry Potter scenes. And if you've ever wanted to learn about birds, now's your opportunity.
Yeah, it seems like you've got all the backyard birds of North America. They've got small little renditions and all the cards out. So if you want to know what's chirping outside your window at 6 o'clock in the morning, this is your chance to find out.
Absolutely. Educate yourself a little bit while at BrickFair. Then this is Coral Reef, and the it says Little Mermaid Improved. So it looks like they've had some thoughts on the Little Mermaid set and thought they could improve it. We got the Disneyland Haunted Mansion set here as well. Rivendell. And then I think we start a bunch of builds from The Shining, the Overlook Hotel, the elevator. And this is the large scene. I really like the different carpets there and the fireplace. You got the bathroom here, room 237. And now we have Gilligan's Island, which you don't see captured very much with Lego either. And as we said earlier, some Star Wars.
Star Wars is on at least every third table in this building. You cannot escape it.
Frogger there, and I think some more Minecraft, and then we have another seashell build here as well. Move over then to this section now, and we don't want to forget about actually this first here. So we've mentioned a lot of underwater scenes, but I think the best of them all is this one right here.
Yeah, so this is Charm City Lug's big underwater mermaid coral reef collaboration that I was lucky enough to get to work on. And we were able to bring in some really cool lights that during World of Lights, they're like underwater effect lights. And so you kind of have the ebb and flow of the water line that would be well above this. It really popped. All the colors that we have built into this is really amazing to see when everything was closed down. But there's some power functions in here. There's some lighting in here. There's builders of all different variety in here. We've got landscapes, foliage. We kind of cover all the bases, and it looks fantastic.
Can I take a wild guess that this section over here is the one that you worked on?
I mean, yeah, it's one of the two. I put in kind of our group discussion, I was like, I'm going to add my flair. I'm going to sink some kind of military vehicle in here. And
it's very accurate. There's a lot of military, vehicles, aircraft, all sorts of stuff on the bottom of the ocean.
Exactly. And somewhere, I want to say it's in Europe somewhere, there's an underwater museum of like Cold War era vehicles that you can like scuba dive down to. So it's definitely not inaccurate. But
yeah. Off the island of Saipan, there are 3 different Sherman tanks you can snorkel to. Really incredible to go out there and check those out. But this is amazing. So shout out to all of the builders here who worked on this. I love the colors here. And yeah, the lights that you guys added look really great as well. So it's really cool to see all that work put in there. Then we'll jump across here and check out some of these scenes. So we've got The Gang Goes to BrickFair here from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Shout out to Kat Harris there. And Historical Rooftop Tour. So this is the Beatles rooftop concert here, the Abbey Road concert, I believe. You can see it gets the official Zazumgabat seal of approval. As a big Beatles fan, he had to make sure to leave that. And you've got some Frozen and Pocahontas book covers. This layout here that we're coming up on was very unique. So this is a twist on a lot of the architecture sets and some of the helmets and stuff, but in very different colors.
Yeah, so this is, I believe, a newer member of Charm City Lug, and he basically, the way that I understand it is he takes existing Lego sets and rebuilds them in basically any brick he can find, creating these super cool kind of abstract color formations of the different architecture and, as you said, some of the helmets that he's got around here.
Then we have micro scale Hyrule Castle, some Nintendo Switch. Got scientist build back there with tons of fun colors. Got what are these battles right here?
So in the back is the Christmas Truce of 1914. This is a historical model that I actually built for one of our lug shows. We had a holiday-themed show. And the one up front is the Battle of Shurayama, 1877. And this is actually the real events of the Last Samurai. So the famous, or I guess the decently good movie with Tom Cruise. This is what actually happened, kind of leading those events in history. So.
Fantastic. You mentioned the Beatles, and he's never far away. Here's the man, the myth, the legend himself.
I hope you explain everything about the rooftop concert of the legendary Fab 4. Thank you so much.
Spent about an hour on making a documentary over there.
This is the best mark of the show, in my opinion. Love it. Take care.
We'll get back to some of this here with the mythological gnome home, and just like a really unique series of colorful gnome fairy houses here.
Yeah, so Charm City Lug has a very wide reach when it comes to different kinds of shows and things, and we have one where fairies and gnomes and kind of just garden theme in general is kind of the overall idea that they go for. So a lot of the builds that go to those different shows end up here, and it makes for a really cool abstract group layout.
This next layout is kind of town and train. I like the historic train in the middle there. That's a super fun idea. We have the bridge sitting out here. And then we get into the skyscrapers, looking fantastic with some lights inside there. The clock tower looks great.
Yeah, we've got 3 big ones this year. We've got Mel's, and then I believe the other 2 are Nathan Hagen's towers. And he put lights in both of those. I believe the clock tower he either rebuilt or finished building within the last 2 or 3 days of getting here to BrickFair. So
love to hear it. you know it's going to be good in the last minute. And you've got Brick Fillet here, and the Friends pirate ship in the back, and a aggressive negotiations build here. You call this a diplomatic solution, is what the mock card says.
Yeah, Joseph Zawada, I think 3D printed kind of the Big Fig version of that figure, and then built some really nice Big Fig battle droids to really show that she means business.
Then we've got the Gathering Shadows. This is from the Clone Wars here as well, so very unusual looking Star Wars scene there.
Yeah, so I believe this is season 6 and season 7. This is kind of what ended up leading up to the Republic invasion of Mandalore. So it's all the crime lords and syndicates meeting with Darth Maul, and some of the coolest arcs in the show, in my opinion.
Next to that is a huge Star Wars army layout here, and this I think is an extension of the Andor show. I was talking to the builder earlier, and he was explaining that. So just a huge layout with I don't even know how many minifigures.
Yeah, so this is Jason Miller's, and he's been building this over the course of the last couple of months. He's got, I believe it's 1,500 white stormtroopers and then a couple of hundred shore troopers. But this is his idea of the Imperial response to the Rick's Road riots at the season finale of Andor. So it's a really cool idea. Nothing that has happened in universe yet, but a really good idea of what could have happened had that show continued on from that episode.
And we've got the Project Cryos here, and not something you see tackled real often, kind of the Arctic type theme, but a lot of action here. I like this.
Yeah, and they've got kind of the frosted over little signs of what each of the mock areas is and who built them, and the orange, this line I don't think is recent. It's an older line, but the height aesthetic of some of the mountain areas in here really just gives you that extra layer of depth.
Some wonderful spaceships here. Next to that, this is the Silent Spring and then a Junkyard Angel. We've got Mario and some characters back there. And some Star Trek themed builds. And then the Citrus Mistress here spaceship. Another build by Kevin Dark that we featured at BrickWorld Chicago. If you haven't checked out the full video on this, definitely do that because there's a lot happening and this looks great.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of movement, and one of the things that I've loved getting to learn about Kevin's mocks is like how engineered everything is, but then also how aesthetically pleasing everything is, how clean it all looks. It's not, it's not very visibly Technic.
Got a bit of a portal section happening here and kind of a cyberpunk vibes as well. This tower here is looking fantastic. Definitely looks like something that would fit in very nicely over there at the new Hashima City.
Yeah, there's not too much to give away yet, but there's a future over here in Charm City Lug with some stuff like that.
Then the Endor Speedway. So I think we saw an earlier version of build of this maybe a year or two ago, but it's like the builders have expanded on this a lot and added a lot more detail.
Yeah, I think one of the ones they've had in the previous years, they've gone through different scenes from all the movies, whereas this one is really just focused on kind of the big landscape of Endor. So they've got the massive landing pad, obviously all the trees, so you really feel like you're in that forest vibe of Endor.
And so many minifigs out here ready to get into the park and everything, so I like how fleshed out that whole build is. This layout here is really nice. So this is the Modern Museum of Miniature Masterpieces, and you can see a lot of famous works of art here from all throughout history, and you've got minifigures enjoying them. Lots of different styles of minifigures as well here.
Yeah, lots of different styles, lots of different colors, and we've got Skip the Builder hiding behind it. But this is one he's had before, and it looks great every time it gets set up.
Fantastic work there. That looks great. Then I always love to see these types of builds that just kind of like feature the variety of Lego colors in fun and interesting ways, and it just makes you realize like how much Lego has done over the years.
Right, and the greebling techniques on every single one of them is different, and we had a whole conversation the other day that color blindness affects this whole build. So like there's a couple of them that look nearly identical to me, being partially colorblind, but they're really awesome to see, and it's also a testament to like what colors different parts come in. Like there's some parts in here that you don't see duplicates on any of the other modules.
The color blindness explains a lot about you being a military builder. This way you don't have to worry about, figuring out what color it is.
I mean, I will say every now and again someone tells me there's a single olive green plate on my dark tan landscape and I have no idea.
Here looks like we're preparing for the Olympics in France, which is coming up here not too far away. So getting ready for that, building some excitement. And I think that brings us back around to Kat's build. Finishes out this section, so we'll go over here against the curtains. And we'll start off with a Transformers mosaic here on the left-hand side. And then there's this giant robot that was nominated for Best Pop Culture. This is Johnny 5, I think it is right here. And I think there's some movement, though I haven't seen it moving yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's on right now, but I believe it's motion activated because we were walking around earlier during the yard sale and it kept moving and it kept freaking me out.
And then a whole bunch of Mario-themed builds. This is, let's see, Super Mario there. And then you've got like Duplo recreations as well. Some official sets mixed in, just all sorts of scales here.
Yeah, just a big kind of display cover Mario, and you've got both system and Duplo, which is cool, them mixed together.
And then some nice kind of animals there, and Pokemon Stadium, that big Godzilla layout. It's Delusion from FX's Legion here. The contrast there in the black and white is really nice. That's really cool. It's like we got a bunch of Transformers then to the right of that. Shout out to Logan Film Studios, the brick built signage. Watch them transform on the YouTube channel there. Fantastic. And I think some more Transformers further down there. And sticking with that theme, we got you've got the brick built one, and I think the other one next to that. So the original here.
Yeah, I brought the original G1 for comparison. This one actually does transform. Each of their individual bot modes, I decided to make the same size as the original combined mode. So 6 of the original Devastator make up my whole mock, yeah.
Incredible. Thank you so much. Looks fantastic. So a lot of Transformers here in different parts of the show this year.
Yeah, I know usually like BX Bricks has his huge tower of Transformers, but there's been Transformers in a couple different areas, all different scales, all different color palettes, and a lot of them claim they transform, and I'm definitely going to go check him out on YouTube and watch all of those transform for sure.
We've got the big Harry Potter train, and that leads into a nicely detailed kind of theater city layout. You've got the roads leading to a water portion here. It really feels like just kind of a wonderful kind of slice of life section.
Yeah, you got a little bit of everything. You've kind of got like the bustling downtown, the midtown, and then even into kind of the coastal. You've got a diner into the wharf area. Catty
corner to that is Metroid Prime. A lot of destruction happening. And then a whole bunch of micro weapons here as well. Another Metroid Prime build on the right-hand side. And then a ton of, I think, kind of vehicle builds. Carnage 6 Technologies, it says. I'm not sure exactly. It looks like there's kind of the inspiration there on the cards.
Yeah, the mock card says Lego BattleBots, so it looks to be a kind of renditions of some of the stuff that we may even have seen in that big battling arena earlier.
See a Viper there, and in the background we've got a big kind of Jurassic Park, Jurassic World inspired build. Got a nice little platypus and some classic space up here. And some more brickheads. Little concert happening. And then this is a Christmas scene, it looks like, kind of a whole Christmas town. The snow coming down. And we've got this Norse mythology tree, and it's kind of tales from Norse mythology, I think. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it looks really cool. The spinning base, it kind of lets you see it from all the different angles. You've got different, what appears to be islands and things hanging from the trees. And you've got just all of the different levels. You've got what appears to be kind of underwater or underground. You've got the ship and kind of some big creatures there. Really cool stuff. You've got a big creature of some kind on top of the tree as well.
Really, really cool stuff there. Fantastic work. And I think we have a little bit more around the corner. We've got the Brickmania booth, and then the Naval Museum here, Hampton Roads Naval Museum booth that also has some builds.
Yeah, so I think this is the first time I've ever seen them here, and I believe these are all models that they brought themselves. So they've got a bunch of different renditions of ships or just kind of general landing craft and aircraft on display here at this show, which is really awesome. Being a military builder, they've got all kinds of specifications and history about all the different things they've got here on the back behind it.
So I think that might pretty much finish everything out. There was one section of a table that we couldn't get to earlier because there were kind of a lot of people nearby, but as we walk around, is there anything else that you think we missed, Caden? I think that might be about it.
I think we hit just about everything that there was on the floor, which is insane because like we said at the beginning of the video, this is the biggest this show has ever been to my knowledge, with almost 3,000 mocks registered. So we've done our best to kind of show everything that we could. And we're going to check out a good friend of mine, Carter from Salty Lug. He brought us the amazing city build with a backdrop we're going to close it out with.
Yeah. So you can see an incredible level of detail here in the train yards, even like checking out the tractor here. I didn't look too closely at this build, but that looks fantastic.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of greebling, amazing builder, fantastic techniques. He's got lights in here. He was playing the Thomas the Tank Engine theme song the other day. And the backdrop is one of the things that really makes this build for me. He's got this custom backdrop that's kind of printed in this Lego style that really brings the rest of this build to life.
And some really nice trains next to that. Looking fantastic by Klaus here. And very appropriate that we come back to the fire theme here with a data center fire. The winter sledding hill looks really nice, nominated for best vignette. Get all the Walmart trucks, which means we must be near the Walmart itself. I think this has been at BrickFair before, but so much to see here.
I think so, and honestly, I'm shocked it's in here and not inside the Walmart next door. Sponsored project for Walmart, but yeah, this is a great build. I love seeing kind of the real life renditions of stuff built in brick, especially stuff that's so close that half the people in here, we've been in there every single day this week. So.
And we'll finish out then with this really wonderful scene here. This is called No Name City. It says just a simple Lego city, but I think it's much more than simple because you've got so much happening with the underground layers and the train. Then these really wonderful modular buildings and those streets that are done so nicely, even with the different crosswalks, the different types of pieces on the crosswalks look great.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you've got a ton of depth to this build just from a height perspective. You've got this awesome trans blue kind of pad that covers the water. Gives you the underwater depth, the overwater depth. You've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on this side. You've got a cool subway underneath. It's like the crosswalks, that's definitely one of the first things that I notice. It's just a really, really nice build. It's elevated too. Like a lot of the streets and cities we see are low to the ground on the mill standard and things like that. But building up like this, it really gives you the ability to stick so much more detail into it.
Now I can say I think we've officially wrapped up all of the builds here at BrickFair. I don't know how long this video is. But if you've made it to the very end, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you drop a suggestion in the comments for Caden to build. Whatever you think his next build should be, let us know if you've made it this far. Maybe he'll tackle that at a future Brick Fair.
We'll have to see. I've got quite the backlog of things that I need to cover before we get to the end of stuff. So, but yeah, leave the comment. If it's cool, we'll see what comes out to Brick Fair next year.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Caden. I appreciate you hosting this whole tour with me. It's always wonderful to discover so many wonderful builds that you would just kind of walk right by if you didn't take the time to really check it all out here.
No problem. I absolutely love walking around with you guys. It's a great time, and it's really the only time I get to go around and walk at everything because I'm usually working. But it's been great. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. Thank you.